Hello, everybody. This is Lamplight City, as you can see. I know basically nothing about this game other than that it's like a point-and-click adventure game. Probably a very heavily mystery-centered type of game. A game series I tend to like quite a bit. I've been playing a lot of RPGs, a lot of horror games lately, so I thought I wanted to get back. I thought I'd get back to more of an adventure title, something that's voiced, that I don't have to read all the stuff. I get tired of reading stuff out loud very quickly, so this one looked like a really good candidate, so let's just get started. This Alfred Hitchcock keeps coming and going from the bar over there.
Rough night?
Bit too much Bollingworth ale is all. That stuff really creeps up on you.
Tell me
Sorry
about
I
it.
couldn't join you, but I was long overdue for a quiet night in with Addie.
That's fine. There'll be plenty of other opportunities. Hell, maybe Adelaide can even join us. It's been ages since she last drank me under the table.
Afraid she mostly sticks to tea these days.
Miles, what exactly is it we're looking into? I may have dozed off during the briefing.
Actually, I definitely dozed off.
Honestly, Bill, one of these days Snelling's gonna notice.
No, he won't. Why do you think they put him behind a desk? The man couldn't find his own backside with a pair of pliers and a lantern.
Very funny. Anyway, it's a burglary at the Hanbrook Flower Shop.
A burglary, eh? How dull. At least we'll have enough time to get a drink afterwards.
You seem awfully certain of that.
I am. In fact, I'd bet the devil my head that we're done within the hour.
Well, the devil's gonna be disappointed that his winnings are so meager.
Ouch.
Ah, we've arrived. After you, Bill.
The borough of Colmundley.
Thank you. Keep the change.
Yeah. Big spender, good night.
And so, our night of excitement begins.
You, more than anyone else, should know that there's rarely a dull night in Chumley.
I have a feeling tonight will be the exception. Until we get to the pub, that is.
Wait, that's how you
Keep your
pronounce
mind
it?
on the case, Bill. Now let's get a move on.
Chumley?
Fordham, what are you doing?
I was gonna check inside this trash can for clues.
Miles, in the 15 years we've been partners, how many times have you found something inside a trash can that wasn't garbage?
Fair point.
It's almost like I'm trying to do my job or
No
something.
point wasting time searching through a dirty old trash can.
You finally learned. I'm so proud.
Glad this thing is lit. This isn't really the type of place I'd prefer to be at this time of night.
Don't worry, Miles. I've got your back.
That reminds me. I should pick up a bouquet for Addie when we're done here.
Seems like you've been spending more time with me than with her lately. I sure hope she's not the jealous type.
Oh, Bill.
Looks like they've had some trouble with vandalism.
Pretty much every business in this part of town has.
The HMS Ligea.
I can't believe that thing made it all the way across the Atlantic in less than a week.
Don't scoff at the future, Miles. Pretty soon, we'll all be riding those things to work.
Especially considering Prince Harold is their big celebrity passenger. An all too common sight in this part of town.
Sad to say, it hasn't really changed much since I was a boy.
I see the industrial pollution is keeping up nicely. Good, good.
Certainly looks cozy in there.
Plants have a nice way of doing that.
Suppose we gotta go talk to
Bill.
people.
Charming little place, isn't it?
Charming, but empty. We need to find the owner.
Always so to the point, Fordham. If ever there was a better time to stop and smell the flowers.
I think I'll leave that to you, Bill.
With my allergies, hardly.
Did we stop being wry for a second?
These prices are pretty reasonable. The place I go in Worcester's clearly robbing me blind.
If you think those are bad, don't go near the flower shops in Lyon.
This is quite the selection. Come over here and take a whiff, Bill.
Sure, if you don't mind me getting snot all over your coat.
Oh, no, not the Myers case all over again. On second thought, you can just stay over there.
You know, in the police business, you never hear the phrase, come on over and take a whiff of this. At least, never have it end well.
Plants hanging on hooks. A nice space-saving method.
I'd probably bang my head against them constantly if I had them in my apartment.
Not too many left. Seems business isn't so bad around here.
Well, you know what they say. There are only 3 certainties in life. Death, taxes, and people taking advantage of sales.
Thank you, Mark.
The staircase isn't very well lit.
I'll go first. That way you can catch me if I fall.
We should probably ask for permission before heading up there. These seem to be part of the watering system for the flowers.
I haven't seen old piping like this in a while. Seems like someone's reluctant to upgrade.
Mostly a bunch of fertilizer and growth tonics.
Growth tonics, eh?
Plant growth tonics, Bill.
Of course. I knew that.
Thank you, Nick.
Be right there.
Yes.
Oh, hello, gentlemen. I must say you caught me by surprise. I was preparing to close soon. May I help you find anything? The flowers in the center display are half price this week, and I have a special on chrysanthemums today. Or perhaps a custom bouquet for the special ladies in your lives?
I have no need myself, but maybe Adelaide would appreciate a little something. Eh, Miles?
Why don't you mind your own
Those
business,
peonies in
Bill?
the corner look nice.
I'm afraid we're not here as customers tonight, ma'am. We'd like to have a word with the proprietor. Is he in?
I see. I'm Cecilia Handbrook, and this is my shop. What can I do for you, gentlemen?
I'm Detective Miles Fordham, and this is my partner, William Legere. We received a report of a burglary at your store.
A report? From whom? I never contacted the police before, and I didn't this time, either.
It was made anonymously, but are you saying this isn't the first time it's happened?
Correct. It's happened 3 times. But
Counting this
considering
one?
the police hardly care about the daily muggings and vandalisms around here, I didn't think they would be interested in something so trivial.
Good
Well, we're
point.
here
Let's
now.
go
We'll
drinking.
do all we can to help you.
We'll have to see about that.
If you wouldn't mind, Mrs. Handbrook, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Very well, Detective.
Isn't the plural of chrysanthemum chrysanthema? No. I don't know.
Could you give me the details concerning the burglaries?
About 3 weeks ago on Monday, I noticed that my order of Easter lilies was missing. At first, I thought nothing of it. Sometimes certain types of flowers are unavailable or arrive in poor condition. These things happen. Then 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, it happened again. But this time, I noticed something rather odd.
Go on.
When I opened the shop, there were 6 crowns and 10 shillings on the counter. That's exactly the cost of 2 orders of lilies. Last Friday, it happened yet again. The lilies were missing, and there was payment for 1 order on the counter. I believe that someone has been breaking into my shop after hours, taking the lilies, and leaving money behind.
How unusual.
So, what's the problem?
Have you found any evidence of a break-in?
No, the front door is always locked. My assistant Trevor and I are the only ones with the key.
Are there any other points of access to the building?
The upstairs windows, I suppose, but I make sure to keep them locked, and neither of them have been broken.
Would you allow us to have a look upstairs?
Is that really necessary? I was just about to close up the shop.
It won't take but a moment.
Fine, I suppose you may, but please, don't dally too long.
Hey, look, George Washington, we've got some crimes to solve, so don't, if you want these to stop, you let us upstairs.
So this burglar has been paying for the stolen goods?
That would appear to be the case, yes. I really don't think this could even be considered a crime. That's one of the reasons I didn't bother reporting it to the police.
And the other reasons?
Oh, I think I've already made those quite clear, Detective.
Well, trespassing is a crime, so...
Have you noticed any suspicious characters lurking around?
Detective Fordham, this is Chumley. You can't throw a stone without hitting a suspicious character. And if you noticed my window, you'd be aware that stones get thrown around quite a bit in this neighborhood. If you're looking for trouble, you're far more likely to find it out there than in here.
I meant if you'd seen anyone out of the ordinary near your shop.
Only the two men from the police who entered it tonight. That is most definitely out of the ordinary.
What, cops showing up? I guess.
You mentioned your assistant has the other shop key. What can you tell me about him?
His name is Trevor Hastings, and he has been working for me for the past 10 years.
Do you trust him?
Implicitly. I've known him for ages, and he has been my full-time assistant since shortly after my husband died. You're not suggesting he had anything to do with this, are you?
Not at all. I would like to speak with him, though. Where might I find him?
It's Friday, so he should be on his way back from the docks right now. He'll be bringing my flower order within the hour.
Good. We'll meet him here, then. If that's all right with you.
I suppose I don't really have much of a choice, do I?
Have you been in business long?
Yes, I opened this shop 30 years ago, along with my late husband, David. But the past 10 years, I've been running things on my own.
Don't you feel unsafe being here by yourself so late into the night?
Detective, when you've lived in this part of town as long as I have, it takes quite a lot to scare you.
I think that's all the information I need for now.
All right, Detective.
I think I have all the information I need. Someone in this room is a murderer. Wait, no.
Got a minute, Bill?
For you, Miles, I've got 5.
Thank you, Devin.
I've heard of honor among thieves, but have you ever known a thief to pay for stolen goods?
Perhaps conducting normal business is just too boring for him. Do you think he might be doing it for the thrill?
There could be any number of reasons. The best way to find out is to catch the culprit and ask him ourselves.
If you were doing it for the thrill, you wouldn't keep doing the same kind of thing. I don't know.
What's your impression of dear old Mrs. Hanbrook?
I like her. Good old-fashioned, tough-as-nails Chumley woman. Reminds me of my mother.
Your mother was never quite so stubborn. Why do you suppose she's so reluctant to accept our help?
It's a chum thing, Miles. You wouldn't understand.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chumley Town.
Let's get back to it.
All right.
We're gonna have to lock this crime scene down, dust for prints, canvass the area.
Interesting choice of decor in here.
Perhaps it wasn't always used as a storeroom, although I can understand why it would have been converted.
Yeah, it is rather drafty in here.
A pastoral landscape. Definitely nowhere near here.
I've never much understood art, but it would be nice to see a place like that in person.
I would imagine that keeping a consistent temperature in here is important for the flowers.
When do you suppose this contraption was last serviced?
Hard to say. Definitely not recently, if the dust buildup is any indication. I would imagine that
When do you...
A rather distinguished-looking gentleman.
Reminds me of Captain Snelling, if he ever smiled.
A young lady. Perhaps a relation of Mrs. Hanbrook?
I can see the resemblance. Sort of.
Seems to be the broken pot storage area.
Why not just throw them away, I wonder?
Yeah, why would you
Most
store
likely they're
broken
going to
pots?
be repaired. I noticed some faint cracks in some of the pots downstairs. I've seen this type of device before. It's a special container for growing plants. Specific temperature and water conditions can be adjusted. Seems to be empty right now, though. And judging by the dust, it hasn't been used in a long time, if ever.
It seems Mrs. Hanbrook isn't too fond of steam tech, or just doesn't understand it.
Unmarked, but if the smell is anything to go by, this is where the flowers are stored when delivered.
I'll keep my distance then.
I don't think this window would serve as a viable means of entry.
It's a nice view, though. You can hardly see the vomit and manure piles on the street from up here.
Lamplight City, in all her glory. This provides a means of escape from the top floor, or access to this window from the ground. The window latch, securely locked. Interesting. There's a gap between the window and the frame here. No wonder it's so drafty in this room.
For somebody used a hook.
I wonder.
What are you thinking, Fordham?
That it's time for an experiment. I'm going to need a tool, however. Something long and thin should do the trick.
Like your
Shouldn't
mom.
be too hard to find something like that around here.
Wait, no. That's... Nah, somebody Slim Jim the door.
I have a few more questions for you, Mrs. Hanbrook.
Very well, Detective. If it will help you conclude your investigation faster.
Mrs. Hanbrook, were you aware that there's a gap in the frame of the small upstairs window?
Is there? I only go up there to check that the window is locked. I've never noticed a gap.
Oh, yeah.
Are you suggesting that's how the burglar is entering the store?
It's a distinct possibility, but I have yet to figure out exactly how.
Nope, I know
Well,
how.
I trust you'll come to a satisfactory conclusion, Detective.
I think that's all the information I need for now.
All right, Detective.
Hook.
Aha! This hook is exactly what I need. Mrs. Hanbrook, may I borrow this hook for a few minutes? It's crucial to our investigation.
Is that so?
Crucial.
Yes, I promise I'll put it back as soon as I'm done.
Please do, Detective.
Thank you, Daryl.
The window. Good. Bill, it's time for our experiment.
And what is this experiment going to be exactly?
Simple. I'm going to see if this hook can get me inside the shop.
Yoink.
Rather dark out here.
Watch your step, then. This experiment of yours isn't worth a broken neck.
I'll be fine. Now
Boy,
then, could you please close and lock the window, Bill?
this promotion is as good as mine. Yep. Easy.
Well, I'd say this is fairly incontrovertible proof that the building can easily be broken into without arousing suspicion.
Where'd you learn how to do that, anyway?
You taught me, remember?
Nah. Are you sure it was me?
Positive. We were a few pints in at the Angel about 5 years ago, and you decided I should learn how to pick locks.
What else have I taught you how to do while drunk?
That would be telling.
Wasn't exactly cracking into Fort Knox, dude.
Trevor.
Evening, Cecilia. I've got the order ready to bring in.
Trevor, these are Detectives Fordham and Legere. They say there's been a report about the burglaries, and they're here investigating.
I only did it because I think it's been going on too long. As much as you want to, we can't handle this ourselves.
We can discuss the matter later. In the meantime, the detective would like a word with you.
I'll be needing to bring in the flowers first, if that's all right. Otherwise, some hooligan's likely to run off with them.
My partner will keep an eye on your flowers. Bill, would you mind?
Ah, the glamour of police work.
This damn street hooligan stealing flowers all the time.
Now, Mr. Hastings, if I could ask you a few questions?
Go on, then.
Hang on a second. Oh, I can't even get back out of the conversation.
How long have you been working for Mrs. Hanbrook?
Been about 10 years now, I reckon. I used to help with deliveries now and then when it was her and David, her husband. But after he passed, she offered to make me her assistant. Unfortunate way to get it, but I needed the work. Used to be I had a job at one of the airship yards, but they let me go after I was injured by one of those newfangled steam machines. So the offer came at a good time. Besides that, Cecilia needed looking after, even though she'd never admit it. If I'm being honest, we're both getting a bit long in the tooth. Not sure how much longer we'll be keeping this up, but as long as I'm upright and breathing, I'll be bringing these crates along, even if it is murder on my back.
I admire your work ethic.
I've got a job to do. Not enough people these days seem to respect that.
I think he killed the husband just to get this sweet job.
What can you tell me about the recent burglaries?
I wish Cecilia had contacted you a lot sooner. She's a damn fine woman, but sometimes I think she'd rather jump in a rose bush than ask for help. Had to take matters into my own hands. This needs taken care of, and we can't do it on our own, as much as Cecilia would like to. Anyhow, alls I know is someone's been making off with some flowers and leaving money behind. No idea who it could be, how they're getting in, or why they even bother paying. In my day, if you robbed a place, you did it the right way. It's a sad state of affairs when even burglars don't do their jobs correctly.
Do you have much experience with burglary, Mr. Hastings?
Used to have
Now, I never
pride.
said that, detective.
Have you noticed anyone or anything suspicious around here recently?
Nothing but the usual roughnecks, ragamuffins, and drunkards. Like I said, it's a real mystery.
Could you walk me through the process of your deliveries?
Of course, there's no great science to it.
You
On
pick
Monday,
up the
Wednesday,
flowers,
and
you
Friday
put down the
afternoons,
flowers.
Cecilia gives me her list of flowers to pick up from the wholesalers. I head over to Gascon around sunset when they get their shipment, and I give them her order.
Father
They load up the
Gascoigne?
plane, I pay for it, and then I lug it back here.
How long does that take?
Between moving the crate and getting it across the river on the ferry, a couple of hours. Usually the store's closed by then, so I use my key to get in and leave the crate inside for Cecilia to open in the morning. That's all there is to it. Told you it wasn't very complicated.
Do you ever leave the crate unattended during that time?
No, sir. Never more than a minute. I may be old, but I got good eyes. I'd see if there were anything amiss. Besides that, I check to make sure the crate is still sealed when I drop it off. I'm not about to let Cecilia down by being careless.
Thanks for your
Okay.
time, Mr. Hastings. I'll let you get back to work.
Appreciate it, Detective. If you don't mind, Detective, I still need to check the crate before I bring it in.
Of course. Thank you again for your help.
Learn anything?
Possibly. I may have an idea.
Ah, you're being cryptic. That's always a good sign. But if you've got a plan, let's talk about it.
The plant will be fine on the...
Oh, thank you, Detective. That's quite decent of you.
Has got an achievement. Man of my word. I say we
Got a
rough
minute,
her
Bill?
up.
For you, Miles, I've got 5.
We're gonna stake out the flower place.
Any thoughts on Mrs. Hanbrook's assistant, Trevor?
Yes, I feel sorry for him.
Why? He seems to enjoy his work.
Nah, it's not that. He's obviously smitten with Mrs. Hanbrook. but she won't give him the time of day.
What? You only saw him for a few moments. How in the ether did you get that impression?
Ah, come
The
on.
way he looked at her, the way he spoke when he confessed to contacting the police. Shall I go on?
No, that's fine. I see what you mean.
Really, Miles? You'd be surprised what you can learn from people if you just look at them.
Why bother doing that when I've got you to do it for me? Right. Based on what we've been told in our experiment, I can only conclude that our burglar is using the upstairs window to get into the shop.
So, what do you propose we do about it?
It's happened repeatedly over the past 3 weeks, on one of the delivery nights. Since it has yet to occur this week, and today is Friday, logic dictates it should be tonight.
So we settle in and wait to see if the burglar returns? Catch him in the act?
Exactly. It's our best chance of solving this before the trail goes cold.
And I was really looking forward to getting that drink at the Angel tonight, too.
I know, but it's as you said yourself, there'll be plenty of other opportunities. Besides, forbearance is good for the soul.
Spoken like someone who truly has no idea how to have any fun.
I'm sure I'll get the hang of it one of these days, especially with your expert tutelage.
Okay, let's go have a chat with Mrs. Hambrook. I'm sure she'll be delighted to know we're spending the night.
Open fire.
Damn,
Bam. Man.
forgot to bring my deck of cards again.
At least it's quiet up here. I'm surprised we didn't go deaf after the last time we did this.
What?
I said... Oh, right. Your sense of humor remains on point.
Miles, have you ever considered leaving all this behind?
Running
What,
away
you
with
quitting
me.
the force?
The Force, the city, going off and seeing what else is out there, you know?
I'd miss it too much. Wouldn't you?
I was thinking I might visit Harley out west. She makes it sound like a dream in her letters. Wide open spaces, fresh air. I know I'm a city boy and would probably miss New Britannia's filth and squalor after a week, but...
You should do it. A change of scenery never hurt anyone. Plus, it's much easier for you than it is for me. I've got a family to consider, after all.
Ah, right.
Oh, no, I didn't mean it like that, Bill. It's just...
Shh. I think I heard something.
Moriarty. I knew you'd
Oh,
come.
no.
Bill? Stop! Police!
Damn it. He's got up the fire escape. We can corner him on the roof. Stay close and keep me covered.
Your hat. You left your hat. Oh.
Bill!
Whoa.
Stay
Hey.
back,
Whoa.
officer.
Whoa. 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 Whoa.
Knife. Ready your pistol, Fordham.
But you're too close!
I trust you, Miles. Your pistol, now.
This is not worth getting
There's
shot over,
really
pal.
No need for this, officer. I respect your desire to uphold justice. Mine is more important. If you let me go, I won't come back, and we can all forget this ever happened.
Don't listen to this lunatic, Miles. Take your shot before things get worse.
What do? Shoot the hostage.
Look, we've caught you red-handed. Put down the knife, let my partner go, and give yourself up.
No, I'm not going to jail. Do you know what they do to people in there?
We're not sending
I
you
do.
to jail.
If you cooperate, I'll see if I can get the judge to ease your sentence.
I appreciate your tactics, Fordham, but this really isn't the time.
This is like a misdemeanor breaking and entering charge. Heck, you'd probably get cited and just let you go.
Come on, all you've really done is taken some flowers. You're not a killer. Don't make things worse for yourself.
You don't know anything about me. One thing's for sure. I'm not going to jail. So let me go free, or else your partner is going over the side.
Fordham, this madman clearly can't be reasoned with. Take your shot, now!
Shut up, Bill.
Okay, we'll look the other way just this once. Just let my partner go.
Fordham, are you insane?
Bill, don't!
Bill!
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 Bill! Oh, God! I am so sorry, my friend.
Bill!
I am so sorry.
You got... Oh, God. This was over flowers.
Rough night?
Shut up, Bill.
Overdid it on the soporific. Why do I feel like I've had this conversation before?
I'm just glad you're in the mood to converse again. Seriously, you took so much of that snake oil last night, I was starting to think you wanted me quiet for good.
It's no personal slight. I just need some quiet time, or I'll go insane.
Yeah.
I get it. We all need our space. I know it's not easy, but there's really no need.
Not easy. Bill, I've been hearing your voice since you died. You don't shut up unless I take that accursed medicine. I'd say that qualifies as a bit more than not easy.
Yeah, well, how do you think I feel? You think I enjoy being trapped here, listening to you whine about how hard your life's become? You at least still have yours.
I'm losing my grip on reality, and it's all because of you.
Believe me, I know. It's not a pretty situation. But the bottom fact is, you're stuck with me. So you can either keep living this way and ruin your life even more than you already have.
Deal.
Or you can do as I've told you and try to figure out a way to let me move on.
I've dealt with you for the past 3 months. I can keep doing it.
Yeah, and with the way you've been going, you'll end up like me sooner rather than later.
So then it's back to your oh-so-clever plan of tracking down the burglar from the flower shop?
Yes, exactly.
I still don't get how that's going to help.
I've told you several times, although to be fair, if you actually listened to me, I'd still be alive. But the point remains. You wouldn't have been in that situation in the first place if not for him. Once the criminal has been caught and is in custody, we'll both get what we want.
We both know that's not true.
Revenge?
More than that, you'll have that elusive thing you always wanted to give others. Closure.
You do realize the trail's pretty much frozen at this point. Our man has seemingly vanished into the ether.
That's no excuse not to keep trying. I know the cases Upton's been giving you these past few months haven't been the most thrilling, but they've at least kept you active. So just keep at it. Something has to turn up eventually. Unless, of course, you want to wind up in Riverview Asylum. And if that happens, I'm really not going to keep quiet.
Fine.
Good man. Now, I suggest you stop talking to thin air, or Adelaide's gonna start wondering if you've gone mental. Or just maybe, she'll stop wondering.
Very funny.
Pretty, but I'm glad I don't have a sense of smell anymore. Wouldn't you say it's time for a change of clothes, Miles? You've been wearing that coat for who knows how long.
So? Addie gave it to me. Besides, it gives me character.
Right. Brooding detective in a long black coat. That's never been seen before.
What are you talking about, Bill?
Never mind.
Look, don't lecture me on stereotypical shit, Mr. Dead Partner planning to move out with his girlfriend. Like, never mind.
You should have let me be buried wearing my hat. At least it wouldn't be gathering dust like it is now.
If I'd done that, it would be dust right now.
Heh, fair point. I'm certain a permanent indentation in the shape of your rear is starting to form on that thing. That's a fun little apparatus Adelaide got you. Very soothing.
Watching it spin long enough puts me right to sleep.
I'd say that's really more the soporifics doing. Remember before you started taking that medicine and you could actually read a book for more than 10 minutes before falling asleep? You were a lot more fun to talk to back then.
Yeah, you were alive back then, so
I
shut
always
up.
like that self-portrait of Adelaide's mother, even if the eyes do always follow you around the room. Cozy little winter getaway. That would be a welcome change from the winters in this city. Adelaide's mother certainly enjoyed pressing flowers. Do you suppose she does more of it now that she's retired? Miles, care to explain what you're doing?
Just checking to make sure everything that needs to be in here still is.
Right. If you start taking that stuff during the day, you're really going to have problems. Yes, your soporific is still in there. Stop being so paranoid. Yes. It's admirable just how organized Adelaide is. Maybe someday the same can be said about you. Ha, that poster brings back some memories. That's from around the time you two met, isn't it?
Yes, back when Addie was singing at the Angel.
Even in death, Bill won't stop breaking my balls.
Well, look who's awake. Ready to rejoin the living?
Very much so.
You were talking in your sleep again.
Did I say anything interesting?
Do you ever?
Ouch.
You have to admit, she's got you there.
How are you feeling?
A touch groggy. I think I took a bit too much of the soporific last night.
That's what I thought. When you went for your after-lunch nap, you'd barely gotten breakfast down. I saved you some bread and cheese if you're hungry.
Thank you, but I haven't got much of an appetite.
You really should regulate your doses more carefully, love. I'm sure dull senses and an empty stomach aren't much help to your work. By the way, a message arrived via courier for you this morning. I put it on the table along with today's newspaper.
Thank you, dear.
If there isn't a pair of scissors or a hairbrush in Adelaide's hands, you can bet there'll be a book.
Thank you, Bill. I know my own wife.
I always liked that painting. It's impossible to see that kind of scenery here in the city. It might do you some good to look in the mirror a bit more often, Miles. You remember how much time Adelaide had to spend convincing you to sit for this? At least these days, with ferrotype tech advancing the way it is, these portraits can be done in just a matter of minutes. How are your parents doing these days? It's been ages since you wrote them.
Look at this photograph!
Didn't I give you two that clock as a wedding present? Too bad it stopped working. Your book collection has always astonished me. Heaven help you if you ever decide to move. Building those model ships was a good way to pass the time between cases. Hopefully it'll be a while before you get enough time to build another one. Adelaide's father certainly had an amazing life. Imagine being the personal barber to the Prime Minister and his family. The gossip and secrets he must have heard. That makes me wonder what old Mrs. Handbrook is up to these days.
Stop reminding me of flowers.
I'd love to see the look on Snelling's face if he ever found out you kept your old truncheon. Bollingworth Ale.
Yeah.
My favorite. And a nice souvenir from the Angel. You really ought to go back there someday. The Havisham case. Our first time out as partners. First in a long line of successful cases. It's nice to have a memory of the good old days.
I don't know, it was a little disappointing. I had great expectations for that one.
It's been so long since you used that desk. Did you even notice when Adelaide got rid of the chair?
Remembering the HMS Ligaya marks the 3-month anniversary of the tragic crash of the HMS Ligaya. It was preparing to make its second transatlantic voyage when disaster struck. It burst into flames shortly after departing for England, crashing into Foster Park. All 300 passengers aboard, including His Royal Highness Prince Harold, were killed, as were 54 bystanders in the park. I wonder if that was the same day as Bill getting killed, and if that would have any significance, but I kind of doubt it. Ignition of a gas leak. Royal Maverick vowed to install stricter safety regulations going forward. Okay. Oh no! Dame Gascoigne died! I know this is exciting watching me read newspapers, but you gotta bear with me. Died on Saturday of apparent natural causes. I don't know why they would have any connection to Bill's death. I doubt it, but I mean, why would it? Second bizarre murder baffles police. Though many details are confidential at this time, we've been able to confirm that both victims have been male and died from gunshot wounds. Okay, so not the same. Denied rumors that the murders are being committed by a serial killer. We have no reason to believe the murders are related. We have our finest detectives on the case. Okay. Ethericity. It's real and it's coming, says the scientist. The existence of ethericity, a substance said to possess both energetic and restorative properties, was first put forth 2 years ago by Dr. Bennett Clark. He claims that ethericity exists in small amounts on Earth, but is mainly located in the celestial region commonly referred to as the ether. Imagine electricity, but hundreds of times more powerful. In addition to powering our lights and machines, it can also significantly reduce the effects of aging and heal the sick. Sounds like mad science to me, but hey, if it works, it works. Fordham, a big case has come in which I think will interest you. Meet me at the Rowan Coffee House for more details. See Upton.
Upton says she's got a big case for me.
Does she go into any more detail than that?
No, but then you know Upton. Always on a need-to-know basis. Especially since she's been giving me these cases under the table.
To be fair, they haven't exactly been anything of note.
True, but she's still sticking her neck out for me. I can understand why she's so secretive about it.
I think she just misses having you around the station.
Poor Connie. With you quitting and me dying, she must be bored stiff at work.
Anyway, I'm supposed to meet her at the Ruined Coffee House. That can't be right.
It's not like Constance to make mistakes. She must have gotten in somehow.
Guess I'll head over there and see what she's got then. Addie?
Yes, dear?
Yes, here.
I've still got that song you sang last week at the Rutherford stuck in my head. You were amazing.
Oh my
Thank
god,
you,
he's
Miles.
turning into me.
That was a lovely evening. I always enjoy it when Joseph brings out his violin and we can relive the old days.
Certainly nicer than when he spends hours telling the exact same story whenever you visit.
They were very glad to see you, you know.
It's probably the most fun I've had in months, to be honest.
They've invited us for dinner again in a couple of weeks, if you're feeling up to it.
I hope I am. What's that you're reading?
It's a collection of short stories by James Penstroke. It was just published earlier this month.
Any good?
Oh yes, I love his work. He's been publishing a new serial in Brentwell magazine. I can't wait to read it. Perhaps we both can together? I think you'd enjoy him.
Lately, I haven't been able to concentrate on a page for more than 5 minutes without nodding off.
God, I can relate.
That is a pity.
Look at this schnoz. It is me.
How's work going? Do you have any appointments today?
Yes, one this evening. It's been a bit slow lately, but pretty soon it'll be debutante ball season, and all the Gascon grand dames will need their hair done. You sure I can't convince you to let me give you a little trim?
Never.
You've been looking awfully scruffy lately.
What's the point? I've got no need to go peacocking around town. You're the only girl for me.
I like it when you're clean cut. It brings out your eyes.
The way my eyes have been looking lately, I think it's best to keep them hidden.
Remember, when you've got a wife or a girlfriend, you can just stop trying.
How are you? It feels as though we haven't seen much of each other these past few days.
I've been fine.
Addie, you're not a very good liar. What's on your mind?
I'm worried about you, Miles.
I know, but I've told you there's no need to worry about me. I'm all right.
You're not all right, Miles. I may not be a good liar, but you can't fool me either.
I am all right. What do I have to do to convince you of that?
Shut
You
up,
could
Bill.
start by
Shut up,
throwing out
Bill.
that sleeping medicine. It's turned you into a different person.
I needed to sleep, Addie. I'll become an even worse person without it, believe me.
I know Bill's death was hard for you. It was hard for all of us. But whatever it is that's bothering you, you know you can talk to me about it. That's what I'm here for.
I know, my love. Your support means the world to me. I need some time to deal with things. That's all. It won't always be like this, I promise.
Making promises you can't keep, eh, Miles?
Bill?
That'll end well.
I'll let you get back to your book.
How do I tell my wife that my dead partner still talks to me? In fact, he won't shut up. I want my truncheon.
I'd love to see the look.
I want my truncheon.
Have a lovely day, Addie.
Take care of yourself out there.
I'm gonna regret not taking the truncheon.
Ah, the Rouen Coffee House. Worst Java in Lamplight City, but there's no better place to overhear all the rumors and gossip in town. Just make sure you don't get too close to the other patrons. Discretion was never your forte.
Nice painting of Johnny Depp over here.
Self-Portrait as a Desperate Man by B. Calvert. A bit like looking in the mirror, isn't it, Miles?
Yeah, well, at least I can look in the mirror.
What a cheery reminder of everyone's impending death. That whole thing about the man in the black robe, complete lie, by the way. Nice seaside landscape. Definitely a stark contrast to the ambiance in here. Not much of a hurry to clean up in here, are they? Greens sulfur soap. Beautifies the complexion and leaves you smelling fresh as a daisy. Talk about false advertising. I couldn't get a date for a week after using that stuff.
Yeah, it was the soap's fault.
Simon Banks. Professional chimney sweep. Services start at 2 coppers per hour. Inquire at 305 Merrick Lane. I'm sure he's a lovable urchin, but thankfully, your chimney is clean. P.D. Preston's patented papier-mâché perambucat. Handsomely upholstered in silk, satin, or velvet, and hand-painted in the most artistic manner, as shown in engraving. I suppose if you and Adelaide ever finally decide to have children, something like this will come in handy. Professor Xander Colt Tit III's emulsified soporific, available at all discerning pharmacies. I really don't know why you think taking that rat piss every night is a good idea for them. Greens, talk about Dr. Tennyson's Vigor Pills. Absolutely guaranteed to restore vitality, youth, and vigor, or your money back. For use by men only. These things seem to have had a spike in popularity recently. Dr. W.S. Sales Wonder Tonic. The best and safest medicine for both gentlemen and ladies. Prevents consumption, general weakness, feverishness, indigestion, constipation, diarrhea, loss of appetite, flatulence, and head pain. They should also mention that it prevents breathing, heartbeats, and being alive. Best avoid that one. He looks like he might tip over at any moment.
And then look out.
Reminds me of when I was alive. Ah, good times. All that metal and tubing just to serve a hot cup of coffee? A young woman holding a guitar. Completely the wrong way, I might add.
That's a guitar? Oh, that's like a ukulele.
Seems like they have a little something for everyone in here. The Specialty House Brews. These are definitely not coffee.
You don't know that.
If it isn't my old friend, up to no good.
Fordham. It's good to see you.
How did you get them to let you in here?
It's rather simple, really. The owner and I have an understanding. He pretends women are allowed in coffee houses, and I don't report his unsavory business practices to Chief Snelling.
Sounds like a good deal. What sort of unsavory business practices are we talking about?
Oh, we haven't got time to get into that now. But take some advice. Don't order anything that isn't water.
I got your message. What's going on?
It's time for you to join the big boys again, Fordham. Your days of finding lost cats are over.
So stop teasing me and tell me what it is already.
Do you know Madame Laura Dupray?
I don't know what that bubbling sound is, but nobody's at the bar right now.
Laura Dupray. She's one of those Gascon Grand Dames, isn't she?
That's right. I'm surprised you've heard of her. I didn't think you cared about those types of people.
I don't, but Adelaide has several of them as clients. She gets paid to pretend to care about their lives, and I get to hear the sordid details.
Madame Dupray died the day before yesterday. Her funeral was held this morning.
My condolences.
But halfway through the service, the mourners heard a loud knocking coming from inside her coffin.
Oh, she got better.
She wasn't dead?
Apparently not. Nearly interred alive, although her doctor swears she had no pulse. Dupray's son Andrew was quick to suspect foul play. He accused a man named Albert Martin, and the police arrested him.
So where do I come in? Sounds like the case has already been solved.
I strongly suspect that Martin is innocent, especially considering the talk of him having used black magic on Dupray. The police feel they have enough evidence to convict, so they're not bothering to investigate any further. You're going to look into it and see if I'm right, then find the person who was really behind this.
This isn't official, is it?
Why not just ask Madame Dupray herself?
She hasn't spoken since the ordeal. Apparently, she's been catatonic since they pulled her out of the coffin.
How unfortunate.
If you'd like to question Mr. Martin, he's being held at the Bow Street jail. Or you could take a look around his house. It's at 451 Compton Street in Worcester.
And the Dupray home?
That's at Emmeline and Comtesse, right across from the old Angeline convent. It's also possible you might run into the police during your investigation, since they're technically still on the case.
Thanks for the warning.
Was there anything you wanted to talk about before you get started?
What are you doing later?
Yes, actually, I had a couple of questions.
Let's hear them then.
Why aren't women allowed in coffee houses?
How are things going with you?
Work is hectic as usual, and I'm spending my day off in here. But considering my home life is still a shambles, maybe this is the best place to be.
I'm truly sorry about that.
Don't be ridiculous. If it hadn't been for you, I'd still be chained to that philandering bastard. It hasn't been easy, but I'm much better off this way. Trust me. Anyway, work gives me something to focus on. I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yes, and I'm grateful to you for getting me these case leads. I know you're taking a risk to do it.
It's the least I can do. How about you? How's Adelaide?
She's fine, although things between us could be improved, if I'm being honest. The less said about it right now, the better, I think.
I'm sorry to hear that. You can talk to me about it if you need to, although I'm probably not the best person to ask for relationship advice.
It's like pushing a rope uphill.
Don't suppose there have been any developments regarding Bill's murder.
Unfortunately not. The department hasn't exactly been focusing on that case as a priority. The general attitude is that it was an accident. Bill died an honorable death in the line of duty.
Would have been nice if they bothered saying that at the funeral.
And of course there are still those who blame you for his death, Snelling being the first and foremost.
But the man who killed him is still out there.
Yes, I know, but it looks like you're on your own if you want to find him. My
Police
hands are
just
tied.
aren't interested in
I can
cop
only
killers.
ask around so much before the higher-ups get suspicious. Just don't give up. New Britannia may be a big city, but the criminal world is surprisingly close-knit. If you find any connections or leads during your other cases, be sure and let me know. I'll do the same if I find anything out.
See, she has a priority straight. You could learn a lot from Upton.
That's it, I think.
Then you'd better get back to it.
Well, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to help you find the flower shop burglar, but I suppose freeing an innocent man is a worthy diversion. If this is how they store their coffee beans, it's probably a better idea to ask for tea. She's running back and forth at lightning speed. Clearly, she dips into the coffee supply.
Yeah, let's get out of here. I say it's foggy out today. Okay, so we've got the coffee house, the manor house, the jail, and the guy's house. Where should I go first? My personal vote would be the jail. I think it's best to get the guy's story before we start doing anything else. Yeah, I'm gonna go jail. Do not collect $200.
Fordham? Is that you? You look like something a cat spat up.
Thanks.
Hello, Giles. It's lovely to see you too.
Miles and Giles. Huh.
What brings you round the jail? I thought you'd quit being a detective.
I'm looking to speak with Mr. Albert Martin.
Oh, I see. Well, that's him in the first cell there. I'd say what needs saying as quick as you can, though. He's headed for the gallows in the morning.
What? Already? But what about a trial?
No
What are
trial
you,
necessary
liberal?
when there's black magic involved. This little half-breed's already sealed his fate.
Whoa.
Such a charming fellow, isn't he? He's watching you like a hawk. Looks liable to toss you in one of his cells if you try any funny business.
Hey, something's glowing in that horn.
I bet
there.
that's a direct line to the police department. You should make a rude noise into it when Giles isn't paying attention.
Holy shit, do they have a whip? They have a whip.
Mr. Martin?
Who are you? My lawyer?
No, I'm actually here to help you. My name's Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator.
How are you going to help me?
I'm looking into the attack on Madame Dupray. I believe you're innocent.
Oh, thank heaven. That's music to my ears.
Would you mind answering a few questions for me?
Friend, if it means saving me from the noose, I'll tell you nothing less than God's truth.
How long
Interesting
have you
choice
been
of phrase
practicing
for someone
sorcery?
accused of using black magic.
How did you end up in here?
I was just minding my own business at home when the police showed up with no warning. They made some outrageous claims about me putting some sort of curse on Madame Dupray. The next thing I knew, I was here. Oh, Mama must be beside herself with worry. I just hope she's all right.
What does your mother do, Mr. Martin?
She helps people.
I was hoping you'd be just a bit more specific.
She provides spiritual help to those who seek guidance.
Oh, a
She's
witch.
a spiritualist.
Not quite. She's more like... how can I explain it?
A witch.
You know how a priest holds mass to spread the word of God to the people? My mother holds services and calls on the spirits to walk among us, providing healing and guidance.
You know,
So
a
she's
black
a
mass.
religious leader?
If you want to give her that title, it would be the most appropriate.
And does this religion of yours have a name?
You'd probably know it as voodoo, but
Oh, boy.
it doesn't mean what you think it does. People are so quick to judge and portray us as evil when they have no idea.
Look, this is Gabriel Knight's territory. I don't want to tread on his turf.
So you practice voodoo, do you?
Are you making fun of me, Mr. Fordham?
No, of course not. Apologies if it seemed as though I was. It's just that the police are convinced that black magic was involved in Madame Dupray's apparent death.
That's because that idiot son of hers knew about my mother, and like all bigoted fools, assumed that we're involved in devil worship and the black arts. But I can assure you that this is most certainly not the case, Mr. Fordham.
Of course, I didn't mean to imply.
Just forget it.
No, doo-doo, that's voodoo.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupray?
Voodoo, so
What's to tell?
well.
She's a twisted, evil woman who got what was coming to her. Whoever attacked her deserves some sort of reward for the service they're doing the community.
So it wasn't you then?
No, I'm innocent, Mr. Fordham. You have to believe me.
I'm afraid you're not making that very easy right now, Mr. Martin. Do you know anything about the circumstances of Madame Dupray's supposed death?
No, I had nothing to do with it.
Then why did her son accuse you?
Probably because he's just as ignorant as she is.
Yeah, but how are you related
What I
to the
meant
family
was,
in any way?
How did her son know to accuse you? Have you had any contact with the family before?
Yes, you could say that.
Yes, like we could say that. Let's say
gleam in
that.
his eye says it all.
You see, I'm involved
Ah.
with Dupray's daughter, Juliette Montgomery. Dupray doesn't like that one bit. She even threatened me once.
Is that right?
Yes. She might have everyone else fooled, but that woman is the devil incarnate. I can't understand how something so heartless and cruel could have spawned someone as pure and, loving as my dear Juliet.
He's not really helping his case much, is he?
Nope.
Tell me about Juliet.
She's wonderful. Such a beautiful, kind soul. She hasn't come to see me yet, but I'm sure that's because of all the confusion in the last few days. Juliet wouldn't believe for a second that I would be capable of harming her mother. I'm sure of it.
How did you two get involved?
We met at the university.
Your classmates?
Hardly. They wouldn't allow someone like me to enroll there. Juliet studies botany. I work as an assistant in the greenhouse. We started talking, and she actually treated me like a person. To everyone else, I was just the boy who fetched the test tubes. But Juliet actually wanted to hear what I had to say. Had the same taste in books and art. Didn't just treat me like some piece of gardening equipment. She even shared some of her notes with me after I told her I was interested in botany as well. From there, things just got better. I don't expect you to understand or approve, but that's how it happened.
Oh, you'd be surprised. It doesn't sound too different to how my wife and I got together. Except I was a detective and she was a singer at a bar.
And she's...
Yes, Mr. Martin. Anyway,
A
back
woman,
to the matter
right,
at hand.
yes.
How often is Juliet in the greenhouse?
Every weekday, but I doubt she's there now. She's probably trying to find out where I am and working to have me released.
Somehow, I wouldn't bet on that.
That's all for now.
Oh, wait, before you go, would you do me a favor? Would you go see my mother at our house and give her a message?
You're at 451 Compton Street, right?
Yes, that's right. Could you tell her I said St. Rock's dog is barking?
Oh, come
I
on.
suppose I could do that, yes.
Oh, thank you.
Whatever happened to a simple I love you?
Now you want me to believe you're innocent, but you expect me to start talking in code. Right. I'll be back.
Compton Street. We're not too far from Restaurant Row. When's the last time you ate, anyway?
Please, let's not add eating to the list of things to nag me about.
Considering how many eating establishments are in this neighborhood, the butcher picked a fantastic spot to set up shop. I do notice a distinct lack of stray cats in this neighborhood, though.
Hey, cat meat, good food.
Considering how many eating establishments, I do know. I'm glad that Coulson still uses horses. I don't trust the new self-driving cabs. One of Atwood's re-election posters, sorely lacking a mustache. Go on, Miles. Fix this grievous injustice.
Not now, Bill. There are more important things to worry about.
Spoil sport.
I'm sorry, I have no time for visitors today.
You're Albert Martin's mother, aren't you?
Who are you?
Miles Fordham. I spoke with Albert, and he told me to give you a message. He said to tell you that St. Rock's dog is barking.
Oh, I see. That's good. That's very good. You better come in, Mr. Fordham. Standing on the street just won't do.
So why'd you do it?
Welcome to my home, Mr. Fordham. I am Sabine Martin. I hope you understand that Albert has nothing to do with this awful business.
I know,
Would
because
you
you
care for
did
some
it.
tea?
Well, her tune certainly changed when you gave her that message. I wonder what it meant.
No, thank you, ma'am. I won't be staying long.
The Virgin Mary. I must admit she was the last person I was expecting to see in here. A rather unremarkable book collection, I'm sorry to say. That statue, on the other hand, gives me the willies. Interesting. Those pots look as though they've been wrapped in tobacco leaves. For all we know, that rider is some sort of demon. He looks like he's having a good time, at least.
I think it's Roosevelt, but whatever.
That pattern resembles a flower. Too bad it isn't an Easter lily. It's some old man with a dog standing at the center of a crossroads. If that's meant to have any sort of significance, it's completely lost on me.
The rug really ties the room together.
I'm afraid that room is private, Mr. Fordham. I must respectfully ask you to not go in there.
Of course. My apologies.
Sure.
I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
I'll try to answer them the best I can.
What exactly is it you do, Mrs. Martin?
I provide services to the public.
A delightfully vague answer if there ever was one. Give me something a bit more specific, please.
I'm a Mambo Asugwe. That means I'm what you call a voodoo queen. I'd give you a detailed explanation of the responsibilities and duties of the role, but your time would be better spent clearing my son's name.
Why don't you cast a magic spell and do it?
Do you think your son is capable of doing what he stands accused of?
Never. Albert wouldn't harm a fly.
That's what the mothers always say.
Why don't you tell me a bit more about him then?
He started working at the university laboratory a few years ago. I was so proud of him. The university is quite selective, you know. The same for its staff as well as its students.
Yes, I've gotten that impression.
I always told Albert to be careful around those high society types, but that one always thinks with his heart first.
Is she sure that's the correct body part?
Shut up, Bill.
He's all the family I have, Mr. Fordham.
If you'll indulge my curiosity, what exactly was the meaning of Albert's message?
Saint Rock is the patron saint of dogs, as well as the falsely accused. If he sent the message along with you, it means he trusts you, and that I should too.
Oh, I see.
Perhaps you were hoping for something more? That's just the way of mysteries, isn't it?
How do you mean?
The thrill of the unknown is always more exciting than the truth. Mystery makes life a little more interesting.
True, but if mysteries were really better unsolved, I wouldn't have a job.
Thank you, Shark.
Do you know anything about Madame Laura Dupray?
I never met her in person, but I know plenty about her.
Like what?
Nothing fit for polite conversation, Mr. Ford.
Then let's get nasty.
But
What do
I
you
can
know?
tell you this. Laura Dupray has far more enemies than she lets on.
Does that include you or your son?
It most certainly does not.
What do you know about Juliet, Madame Dupray's daughter?
I know Albert was smitten with her, no matter that I told him to be very careful around her kind. Those rich Creole families don't care much for people like us. To them, we're just a help. But from his telling, Juliet sounded to be a decent soul. It's a shame the same can't be said for her kin.
Can you tell me a bit more about your religious practices?
What I can tell you is that the ignorant whites in this city are afraid of us for no reason. Voodoo is not about black magic or dark spells or turning people into the living dead. It's about healing and life. Naturally, there are misguided souls who may try to use it for ill purposes, but I am not one of those.
Sounds like you hit a sore spot. Might be a good idea to stop pressing her on this angle.
I think I'll take you up on your offer for tea, after all.
All right, Mr. Fordham. You'll have to give me a few minutes to heat up the kettle. I'll be back shortly.
Okay, point of ethics here. Thank you, a user. Do I actually go in the room I was asked not to go into, or do I just sit here and wait for the tea? Or, to put it another way, how dumb do I really think she is?
Amazing. Even more voodoo stuff back there. Why would she keep these particular items hidden from view?
Good question.
They obviously have some importance to her. I'd suggest asking, but I don't know if that's the best idea given how sensitive she seems to be about the subject.
The tea should be ready in a few minutes, Mr. Fordham. You can help yourself once it's done.
You're very kind, Mrs. Martin. I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
I'll try to answer them the best I can.
Thank you for your help.
My pleasure.
If I ask her about the room, she'll know I peeked. What is that? Must be the crypt. Oh, that's the crypt where she was almost buried. No, I don't want to save and ask. But I don't think waiting is going to do me any good.
Aren't you going to have your tea, Mr. Fordham?
I'm afraid I just remembered something important I need to look into. Perhaps later.
Suit yourself.
If I really feel like I have to, I'll ask about it, but...
You are aware this is private property, sir?
Yes, I'm Miles Fordham, private investigator. I'm looking into the incident involving Madame Dupray. I assume this is she?
You assume correctly, Mr. Fordham. My apologies, but I thought the police had already made an arrest.
That's right, but there's still some doubt as to the man's guilt. May I ask your name, sir?
I am Dr. Fellows, Madame Dupray's private physician. I'm afraid she is in no state to be answering questions at present.
Are any other members of the family home?
Her son, Mr. Montgomery, is in the entrance hall. I had to give him a mild sedative to settle his nerves, but he should be all right to converse.
Then if you don't mind, I'll have a look around.
See, my early theory is that someone gave Madame Dupray some kind of zombie powder, like a voodoo zombie powder, which is the sort of thing that they would do to bury people alive, and someone under the influence of such a substance might appear to a physician to not have a pulse, at least for a while, and also might result in the apparent victim being left kind of mentally ravaged and unable to speak.
Doctor, may I ask you a few questions?
Please be my guest.
How long have you been Madame Dupray's private physician?
5 years, and I've been practicing medicine for the past 30. I still spend a couple of days a week treating patients at Riverview Asylum.
Oh, good. Maybe if you're lucky, he could be your doctor someday.
30 years is quite a long time. You must have seen some incredible advances in the field of medicine.
I have, yes. I can only wonder how things will change with all this talk of ethericity. There's speculation it can be used to restore necrotic tissue and instantly heal broken bones, among other things. If you ask me, a good bloodletting will never go out of fashion.
Raising the dead, perhaps? Yeah.
Tell me about Madame Dupray.
She is a great woman and a pillar of the community. I cannot imagine why something like this could happen to her, or how someone could be capable of such a barbaric feat. Though this ordeal has been terrible, I am confident she will overcome. The power of her physical constitution is surpassed only by her strength of character.
You think he'd say the same things if he wasn't on her payroll? I highly doubt it.
What were the circumstances surrounding Madame Dupray's supposed death?
Her son, Andrew, sent for me a few days ago after finding her unconscious and unresponsive.
Okay, so Andrew
As
found
I was
her.
unable to detect a pulse or breath, I had no other recourse but to declare her deceased. I judged that Madame Dupray had likely suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. It was most shocking to be proven wrong at a funeral.
I can imagine. Where was the funeral held, by the way?
St. Denis Cemetery. Madame Dupray wished to be interred in the tomb of her father's family, name of Chesterton.
Perhaps I'll go have a look. Did you examine Madame Dupray after she reanimated?
Of course. Physically, she appeared to be in fine health aside from minor dehydration. I found no marks or bruising on her body. Mentally is a different story, however. She's remained in an unresponsive state ever since.
Do you have any opinions on what caused Madame Dupray to appear dead?
The most likely cause I can imagine is some sort of poison or toxin.
I mean, she's got no scars, but her brain is Swiss cheese, but she seems fine on the outside.
What leads you to believe Madame Dupray was poisoned?
The symptoms she experienced were consistent with prior cases of poisoning I've studied. And didn't the young man arrested have ties to some kind of black magic cult? There have been reported cases of these practitioners using poisons to make people appear dead, then commanding them to do their bidding. I recall reading about a man in the West Indies who was given tetrodotoxin, that's the toxic secretion from a pufferfish, declared dead and buried. He appeared alive in his village some 20 years later.
Doesn't that seem a bit far-fetched to you, Doctor?
Facts are facts, Mr. Fordham. Surely someone in your line of work can appreciate that.
Those are all the questions I've got for now.
I hope I answered them adequately.
This fountain probably looked nicer when it was working, but right now it's just a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Her eyes are glazed over and she's got a vacant, expressionless stare. She seems completely oblivious to her surroundings. If we didn't know she'd been buried alive, I'd say she was just exhibiting the typical symptoms of your average rich person. Her eyes are... If we didn't...
Oh, hello. Are you the new servant?
Oh,
No,
hello.
I'm Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator looking into your mother's attempted murder.
How did you know I was her son? Oh, of course. You must have sensed it with your detective's intuition. I should have guessed by that giant head of yours.
Are you feeling all right, Mr. Montgomery?
Yes, I'm fine. Much better than when those pesky police officers were snooping around earlier. But I like you, Mr. Fordham. I can already tell you're not like them at all. Please, call me Andrew.
Yes. Well, I'll have a look around, and I may need to ask you some questions. Do you think you can handle that?
Of
I can.
course.
In fact, I really look forward to it.
If the good doctor gave him a mild sedative, I'd hate to see what the stuff you take would have done to him.
I'm not high. What are you talking about? Is there an officer problem?
Do you suppose that's for the bird? Or perhaps so the Dupray family members can get a good look at themselves on the way out of the house? What a beautiful parrot. Must have cost the Duprays a cool copper.
Who's a pretty bird?
Ray's a pretty bird.
Polly want a cracker?
No, thank you.
You're not a real parrot.
Pieces of 8?
Hi, matey.
Who's a pretty bird?
Ray's a pretty bird.
So long, birdie.
Bye-bye.
Dupray looks like she's holding on to that poor bastard for dear life.
Oh boy. Got some looting to do, I guess.
A horrible little porcelain figurine. Madame Dupray didn't strike me as the type to play with dolls. This is always my favorite part of detective work.
Nothing inside but a bunch of extra doilies.
How disappointing. Maybe
Doilies,
you should steal
you say?
one, just to spite Madame Dupray for not giving us any good clues.
No, Bill.
You're no fun, Miles. Nice bouquet of roses, although it would make things much easier if they were Easter lilies.
If only.
Goodness, someone went overboard with the flowers. This brings back some memories, doesn't it?
Ones I'd rather forget.
Workstation. Interesting. Look at this phonograph!
Oh, look. It's one of those new audio cylindergraphs. I can't quite wrap my head around how they can manage to get sound out of a wax cylinder. I don't know much about art, but I see Madame Dupray and I at least have similar tastes.
What the hell does that mean?
Yeah, it must be a nice place to sit and listen to music.
These should be useful.
Free tweezers.
Dr. Tennyson's Vigor Pills. These would make a sloth act like a hummingbird.
The bottle is empty.
A clue. A clue.
A gentle reminder that everyone's time is slowly running out. What in the ether is that thing supposed to be? Actually, I'd rather not know. Decadent. Decadent. I can only wonder what sort of potions Andrew concocts in this thing. Is this really the best that medical science has to offer?
I want to see.
Is this really the... It looks as though this folded piece of paper is being used as a bookmark. The Science of Pharmacology. I'm sure it's riveting stuff. I hope remembering what page they were on wasn't too important.
Looks like it's a letter for Andrew.
Andrew, enclosed is the agreed upon fee. I wouldn't be able to concentrate on his exams without this help. Dr. Tennyson charges an obscene amount. Thank goodness for good people like you with home pharmacies. I'll look for them in the usual spot under the Weeping Angel, Joshua. P.S. Sorry to hear about your mother. I'll wait a few days before passing by. Joshua. Okay, so Andrew knows his way around a home pharmacy. He's awfully quick to accuse other people for crimes.
Juliet really likes plants and flowers, doesn't she? I've never seen so many beauty products together in one place. Doesn't look like they get used much, though.
Locked. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. Let's have a look through these papers. Aha, what's this?
Dear Miss Montgomery, unfortunately I've been informed of a series of burglaries in the neighborhood near the room you're renting from me at 76 Forest Lane. As a precaution, I've gone and changed the locks. Please find and close a copy of your new key. I hope this doesn't cause you too much of an inconvenience. Yours, Edwina Crestfell.
So, Juliet is renting a room in the Chum. That's certainly interesting. I can't wait to see what sort of dirty secrets she's got hidden away in there. There doesn't seem to be much...
Locked.
A much younger Madame Dupray. I suppose that's a nice alternative to a mirror. Ooh, a fainting couch. You know, I always wanted one of these,
Me
but
too.
I never fainted enough to justify buying one. those melodramatic romances. I read it a while
Edwin
back, and I couldn't
Lurchfoot.
tell you a thing about it.
Wallace Bedletter. Choice and Consequence. Dr. Edgar Fentiman. Robin Norris. Equestrian Mesmerism. What? Wait, horse hypnotism? Buffalo Skinner, A Wild Man's Tale. The Chestertons, A Brief History.
Now that one sounds interesting. I was always a fan of Bedletter's short stories.
Would appear to be there's some missing books here.
Choice and Consequence. Who in their right mind would write a book about that? I don't even want to know what that one's about. I read that one last year. If you ever wanted to know the intimate details of a buffalo's anatomy, I highly recommend it. Doesn't appear to be very brief if there's 2 volumes of it. I wonder if anyone outside the family would find this even remotely interesting. Doesn't appear to be...
There's definitely missing books here.
Choice and...
But why?
It would appear that Madame Dupray was taking music lessons.
Her current predicament has probably put an end to that venture, though.
Okay, that's the C scale. Oh, hey, Thaco. What's up? Okay, I've got to get Sacco some food, so I'm going to take a very short break to go get him something to eat and get myself a drink, so I will be back in a couple minutes, okay? Okay. Now, there's no way the piano puzzle is this easy. There's just no way.
Let's see if there's anything in these drawers. Damn, nothing but personal effects and more stationery.
Don't forget the first rule of detective work. If there's nothing useful inside, check underneath and between.
Ah, yes, of course. Thanks for the reminder.
Uh-huh, now this is intriguing.
I'm not going to warn you again, you disgusting mulatto thug. Stay away from my daughter and my house, or I'll kill you myself. Okay, so let's pay attention to the handwriting here. They've got very good handwriting. Very loopy.
Seems Madame Dupray fancies herself a poet.
It's Madame Dupray. Okay. I mean, it was possible that someone else had written the note.
Well, that was life-changing.
For once in my life, I'm completely speechless.
Then perhaps I should take this with me and read it more often. Nah.
You've got some huge bags under your eyes, Miles. Reminds me of the case we had on that strange train.
Don't remind me.
Didn't think so.
Certainly no shortage of bowls or food preparation items around here. Yeah, it looks like gumbo's on the menu tonight. I wonder how it compares with Upton's special recipe. It's times like these make me wish I could still eat. Judging by the amount of food this family probably eats, washing the dishes must take forever. Looks like the type of spices you'd use in a stew. Most likely paprika or turmeric. Nice variety of reds and oranges.
Pardon me, miss.
What? Who are you?
I'm Miles Fordham. I'm investigating the attempted murder of Madame Dupray.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but I'm very busy. I can't help you.
Do you know anything about what happened to Madame Dupray?
No, I don't. Please leave me to my work. I shouldn't be talking to you.
All right, I'm going.
Play one octave lower. Okay. Nope.
This fountain probably looked nicer when it was working. There's an angel on the fountain, but it doesn't look like it's weeping. This would probably be too risky a place to hide something anyway. With her vast sums of wealth, Madame Dupray could probably feed a starving family for the next 30 years. Instead, she uses the money to keep her hedges trimmed.
Okay, so where do I look for the Weeping Angel?
Some kind of water dispensing device, maybe?
Pardon me, miss.
I told you I'm.
All right.
That is not an angel, but I'll check it.
A horrible little.
Look for them under the usual spot, under the Weeping Angel. Concentrate on exams without his help. At the university.
I have some questions for you.
Oh, goody.
Those lips, though.
How do you typically spend your days, Mr. Montgomery? What are your interests?
Oh, a little of this and a little of that. Nothing as exciting as what you do, I'm sure. Ooh, tell me, do most bad people start crying when you catch them?
I've
It's
been
a
naughty.
riot to see them sobbing away.
No, Mr. Montgomery, most of them don't.
Well, that's a real shame, isn't it?
What can you tell me about Madame Dupray?
She came back from the dead. I couldn't believe it. My mother, resurrected, just like Jesus.
Yes. I heard you're the one who accused Mr. Martin of the crime.
Oh, no, I already talked to the police about that. I don't want to think about it right now.
What can you tell me about your sister, Juliet?
I'm reminded of a famous quote, Mr. Fordham. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Let us part on good terms and avoid the subject altogether, please.
Fond of Shakespeare, are you? You and your sister Juliet?
I found this bottle of pills upstairs. Are they yours?
Yes, I take those from time to time when I'm feeling tired.
You seem to be out.
Yes, that is a pity.
Where do you usually acquire them?
Oh, they're available by mail order only. I'll have to remember to request some later.
That's a rather exotic bird you've got.
I like looking at him. He has such pretty colors, doesn't he?
That he does.
You know, I've always wondered what he might taste like. Is that bad, do you think?
I really couldn't say, Mr. Montgomery. Thanks for your time.
No, thank you for yours.
This is ridiculous. He won't be of any use in this state. If it takes him as long to snap out of it as it takes you, well, there has to be a way to bring him back to his senses.
Doctor, may I ask you a few questions?
Please be my guest.
May I ask exactly what kind of sedative you gave Andrew?
A simple tincture of laudanum. It's what I give all my nervous patients.
Can I have
He
some?
seems a bit out of sorts.
Hot? Meat kettle.
It can have that effect, but it usually wears off in half a day or so.
Is there a way to bring him out of his condition sooner?
A stimulant would have the opposite effect, but I wouldn't recommend mixing the two. It could have potentially harmful effects on his heart.
Oh, of course. I wasn't planning on doing anything of the sort. I was just curious.
It's cute how you act like you have no experience in these matters. It's almost convincing.
I have an idea!
Those are all the questions.
I hope I answered them adequately.
Oh, I've got an idea. You're gonna love it. Coffee!
All that she's running back and If this is how they store their coffee beans,
Get me coffee.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
That's it.
I can't take the coffee. I just don't think I'm gonna find anything at the cemetery, but I'll look.
Ah, St. Denis Cemetery. Best view in the city. It's just a shame none of the residents can enjoy it. I think I'm buried around here somewhere.
Oh,
What
God,
the old
Bill.
gravestone is doing these days. Looks like people have left markings and offerings in front of this tomb. You may think it's a silly superstition, but I wish you'd leave a bottle of Bollingworth at my grave every now and then. Nice view of the river from up here. You can hardly even see the cloud of smog over the chum.
Get a cup to go from Voodoo Lady.
I don't know him.
Good day to you, officer.
Good day, sir. How may I be of assistance?
Would you mind letting me in the tomb, please?
Afraid I can't do that, sir. This tomb is currently part of a police investigation and ain't available for visits until further notice.
All right.
But it's my dearly departed Aunt Hester's birthday today, and I always bring her flowers.
I'm sorry, sir, but I've got my orders. Come back in a few days. I can assure you, your aunt won't have gone anywhere.
Fair enough.
Egad! Is this someone's room or a jungle?
Quite a fascinating array of plants in here, not to mention the machinery on the table.
Seems like Juliet is very interested in getting extra credit. I wonder what sort of fertilizer or growth tonic these plants are getting. Whatever it is, it's definitely working. Those are the most vibrant flowers we've seen in a while. I bet they smell extra strong.
Yes, they certainly do.
It's a good thing you're the one with the nose. This plant makes Miles Jr. look like a single blade of grass. That's quite the book collection. It almost puts Adelaide's to shame.
All impeccably cataloged and organized as well, which makes the two missing volumes stand out even more.
Which would be...
That's quite the... I'm guessing they're probably full of more scientific equipment or plant-related stuff. They appear to be scientific scribblings. I can't make heads nor tails of them.
That makes two of us.
Little gnats. Little flies.
Well now, this is interesting.
Etheric effects flora. Larger, more vibrant flowers. Chlorophyll production seemingly triples. Root system strengthen, increasing capacity to absorb nutrients. Conclusion. Plants thrive from exposure to small etheric currents. Further experiments are needed to determine the long-term effects. Brain is clearly affected, inducing a trance-like state. Muscle control lost, wings flap in predictable pattern. If animals with greater cognitive ability, including humans, are exposed to specific quantities of ethericity, they will go into a stupor, appearing unresponsive or dead.
Just a bunch of technical nonsense. I have no idea nor desire to know what purpose that thing has. Etheric pressure. What a bunch of nonsense.
Dare I?
They're just doing what flies do best.
Oh, it's too much! It's too much!
Oh, would you look at that? Oh, would you... Etheric...
I've done too much. I'm not hitting the button again. God.
Oh, it's as though we've journeyed to the tropics. I don't know how you can stand to keep that coat on in here. Those flowers are definitely not native to this area. They seem to be thriving in their glass tubes, though. Quite the assortment of plants they keep in here. I wonder if they serve any purpose or are just meant to look pretty. One of those cute little Japanese trees that are all the rage these days. Personally, I don't see how giving a tree a haircut is meant to be relaxing.
Okay. Whoops, wrong button.
Judging from that pipe, that contraption must be used to keep the plants hydrated. But it looks like a giant earwax remover to me. I've never seen a flower grow that big. What do you suppose they're feeding them?
Pardon the disturbance, but are you Juliet Montgomery?
I am. And you are?
Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator looking into the events surrounding your mother's attempted murder.
Ah, of course.
Have you got time to answer some questions?
Yes, that shouldn't be a problem.
So, you study botany. Fascinating subject.
Are you an admirer of plants, Mr. Fordham?
My wife has the green thumb in the household, but I do have a certain appreciation for them.
Plants are amazing things, just like people in many ways.
How do you mean?
They need attention and care. Ignore a plant, and it will wither. Give it too much attention, and it will become sick. Plants have many things to teach us, and I greatly enjoy learning from them.
These plants are impressive. Are they yours?
Yes, I've developed a method to make them extra healthy and strong.
They're larger than anything I've ever seen. How do you do it?
Ah, but I can't reveal my secrets, Mr. Fordham. The world will hear about my discoveries soon enough.
It's ethericity.
Incidentally, do you know anything about Easter lilies?
No, I don't keep or grow those here.
Do you know anything about the events leading up to your mother's premature interment?
No, it was a complete shock. Mother seemed to be perfectly healthy and full of life. Then, without warning, she was dead. Or so we thought.
I take it you were glad to be wrong?
What a ridiculous question. Of course I was. What sort of heartless beast would celebrate their mother's death?
Oh, I could name a few. Juliet definitely didn't shed any tears over Madame Dupray, though. That much is obvious.
Miss Montgomery, you don't have to lie to me. I'm not going to assume you tried killing your mother just because you weren't upset by her death.
I felt terrible about it. You have to understand, I didn't want her to be dead. I just felt a sense of relief. Please, don't think me a horrible person, Mr. Fordham. It's just that Mother and I aren't currently on the best of terms.
Why don't you and your mother get along?
We've never completely seen eye to eye on anything. She always disapproved of anything I did. When I was younger, she used to forbid me from speaking to the servants. I saw no harm in a kind word or smile, but she warned us that if we were too familiar, they would take liberties. Then when I declared my intentions to pursue academic studies, she really went livid. In her opinion, a university education was tantamount to a chastity belt. What sort of man would want a wife with a head full of useless facts, she'd say.
Right?
Personally, I've always found intelligence to be quite attractive.
I assume your mother didn't approve of your involvement with Mr. Martin?
A rather forward question, Mr. Fordham. But you're not mistaken. I'm not sure how she managed to find out about Albert and me, but when she did, she nearly had a conniption. As I'm sure you can understand, the situation at home has been less than perfect in the last few months. I'd really rather not dwell on it.
What can you tell me about Albert Martin?
I'm not quite sure where to begin.
Why not start by telling me what your relationship with him was?
We met here at the greenhouse. He was working as an assistant, sweeping and cleaning and fetching things for the students. My focus was on academics, naturally. I wasn't too interested in romance. In fact, I've had to turn away nearly every single one of my classmates. But with Albert, I found myself intrigued. I noticed him stealing glances, lingering just a bit too long after bringing over a book or flask, sweeping the same patch of floor near me over and over again.
Kind of creepy,
It wasn't
really.
too long before I had him bringing me tools and equipment, regularly.
I see.
As I mentioned, Mother was an absolute terror when she found out.
Do you believe Mr. Martin did what he stands accused of?
I'm not entirely sure.
Not
It doesn't
entirely
seem like him,
sure.
but Albert can be quite passionate. If the police believe he's to blame, then they must have a reason for it. It wasn't any secret that he hated Mother. Perhaps I should have ended things sooner. It was satisfying to know that Mother was displeased, but I never imagined it would lead to something like this.
Well, it's nice to see she's all heart.
I'm sorry, I laughed at the chat room. Still Gaming posted some funny emotes. Lee, is that you?
What can you tell me about your brother?
Andrew, Mama's precious little boy. If you've met him, you pretty much know all you need to. He's had the whole world handed to him on a silver platter. But he's in for a rude awakening someday. Mother can only provide for him for so long.
Do you know anything about ethericity, Miss Montgomery?
You surprised me, Mr. Fordham. I had no idea someone of your profession would know or care about something like that.
I've found that it pays to be open-minded.
To answer your question, yes, I am familiar with the theory of ethericity. In fact, it's recently become a focus of my studies. Despite what the newspapers have been reporting, it's already possible to access it in small quantities from the air around us.
Have you conducted any experiments?
No, my research
Lies!
has been purely theoretical. I don't have the means to do anything practical, I'm afraid.
Deceiver, dissembler, her trousers are alight. I can't understand why Juliet might not want to make her research public, though.
Miss Montgomery, please don't lie to me. I know you've been conducting experiments with ethericity. I've seen the room you're renting on Forest Lane.
What? But how?
I'm good at what I do.
I wouldn't be very good at my job if I didn't find things out, Miss Montgomery. Now please, drop the act and tell me about your experiments.
Fine. I've been researching etheric effects on living organisms. I'm planning on presenting my discoveries to the board once I make more progress. So far, I've managed to discover that plant growth is accelerated significantly. It's given me quite the advantage in class.
But isn't that cheating?
You have no idea how difficult it's been for me to be taken seriously, Mr. Fordham. No matter how hard I tried, my work wasn't valued on its own merits by my peers or professors. I fought hard to get where I am.
Yeah.
I wasn't about to lose all that just because some pig-headed idiots didn't think my best was good enough.
That sounds awfully familiar.
What about your notes on the effects of ethericity on animals?
Oh, those aren't complete. I haven't tested the effects on anything larger than flies.
You lie!
These experiments were mainly to satisfy my curiosity, but they have little to do with my actual research.
Curiosity? Seems like a lot of effort to go to just to answer a question. then I never really understood these scientific types.
You mentioned you were friends with the servants.
Yes, that's right. I didn't care that they worked for us. Everyone needs a friend.
Did your mother ever mistreat them?
Mistreat? No, I wouldn't say so. She was always very stern, though, and quite cold. If they ever shirked their duties or misbehaved, they were punished, of course, but nothing out of the ordinary that I ever saw. Most of the servants are my friends, but I'm closest with Amelie, the kitchen maid. Mother wasn't too happy about that. Amelie's been around as long as I can remember. She's like the aunt I never had.
No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
Okay.
So long, Birdie.
Bye-bye.
Pardon me, miss.
I told you I'm very busy, and I'll get in trouble if I'm caught speaking to you.
Amelie, please. I need to know what you know about Madame Dupray.
What? How did you know my name?
Juliet told me about you.
Miss Juliet?
Yes, I spoke to her at the university. She mentioned you two were friends.
Yes, that's right. She's always been so good to me.
Look, Amelie, I'm just trying to get some information. And I have a feeling you can be very helpful if you'd just let me talk to you.
All right, fine. But do it as fast as you can.
Do you know the solution to the piano puzzle?
Tell me about Madame Dupray.
Oh, I really shouldn't, sir.
It would greatly help my investigation if you did.
Madame Dupray was kind enough to hire me as her cook. It's hard to get jobs in the city. Lots of people want their servants to use those new machines.
Microwaves.
My sister's brother-in-law got half his leg blown off by one of those new ovens. He's lucky he wasn't killed. So I'm plenty happy working here doing real people's work. But Madam can be difficult sometimes.
Difficult? What do you mean by that?
No, I said enough.
What do you know about Madame Dupray's supposed death?
All I can tell you is that whoever did it really hated her.
Do you know Albert Martin, the man accused of the crime?
No, I'm sorry.
What can you tell me about Andrew?
He ain't so bad. Kinda spoiled, but he mostly cleans up after himself. Has a whole private part of the house, but I think he only uses one room. Better for me, way less to clean.
What do you know about Juliet?
She was always so kind to me and the others, but her mother don't like that one bit. Still, she sneaks down into the kitchen to keep me company some nights. Even though she's a good soul, I think part of her does it just to spite her mother.
Are you the only remaining servant here?
No, there's another one, Marcel. He's the new gardener. I haven't seen him in a few days, though. Not since before Madam's incident.
Thank you, Amelie. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Now, please, let me get back to work.
Marcel, huh?
As amusing as it is to chat with this oddball, this quack hasn't gotten any. Her eyes are if we didn't know a horrible little nice bouquet of roses.
If
Thank you, critical moment.
Locked. Locked.
Can I select one of my items?
Locked.
Well, someone's fancy.
I always thought they had a certain appeal myself.
Yes, you would think that about a bed that lets you shut out the rest of the world.
They're all empty.
Not to mention disappointing.
They're all empty.
Not to... I've never seen so many beauty products. Doesn't appear to be very brief of choice and consequence. And that nothing else of interest in.
Okay, I must admit, I'm kind of stumped.
That's an old uniform. This must be Madame Dupray's first husband. Kind of strange that she'd still keep his portrait in the bedroom.
Damn.
science of pharmacology. I got only one. If only that police officer was.
Good day to you, officer.
Afraid I ain't got time for idle chat, sir. Please, move along.
Good day to you, officer.
Afraid, please.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
I seem to have hit a roadblock. There's an officer posted at Dupray's family tomb, and he won't let me in.
Makes sense. Who's the officer?
I've never seen him before. He's young, has a small scar over his left eye, and a distinct Dixie accent.
Ah, yes, that would be Officer Grant. He's only been with the department for about 2 months. I don't know a lot about him, but he's already got the reputation for being the type of policeman who'd go out of his way to help old ladies cross the street. Typical Southern gentleman, it seems. Perhaps you can use that to your advantage?
Madame Dupray's son isn't being very helpful.
Is he refusing to talk?
More like incapable. The family doctor has him pretty well drugged to the gills. I need to find some way to perk him up.
Well, you know, we are in a coffee house.
I know, that
I
was
have a
my
feeling
idea.
We'll take something a touch more powerful than coffee. What do you know about Madame Dupray?
Only what I've read about her in the paper. She's been married thrice, which I can empathize with, and she's extremely rich, which I can't.
What makes you think this Martin fellow is innocent?
The fact that the only evidence is the word of Dupray's son. I've seen this sort of thing thousands of times, and I'm sure you did too. They're just looking for a scapegoat. You're the only person I know who can put it right.
Upton's intentions are noble, but she has to realize this is just a drop in the ocean.
That's enough about the case for now.
Okay,
That's it, I think.
then you...
Good day to you, officer.
Afraid I ain't got time for idle chat, sir. Please, move along.
Good day to you, officer.
Afraid, please.
Nice view of the.
I think I just blew my chance with this officer here.
This quack. Her eyes are. If we didn't know.
Polly, want to cry?
No, thank you.
Pieces of 8?
I'm matey.
Who's it pretty?
Right.
Polly, want to...
No.
Pieces of... Who's it pretty?
Right.
So long.
I don't know.
As amusing as it is. He's watching you like a hawk.
Could I ask you some more questions, Mr. Martin?
It's not like I'm going anywhere.
Albert, did you hate Madame Dupray?
The woman is cruel, sadistic, and bigoted. When she found out about my relationship with Juliet, she sent me a letter threatening to have me killed if I got near her house or her daughter. So yes, Mr. Fordham, I hated her, but even so, I love her daughter. I wouldn't be so cruel as to take Juliet's mother away from her, even if she hated her too.
I beg your pardon?
Juliet and her mother didn't get along at all. I never asked why, but it was obvious there was something going on.
Intriguing.
That's all for now.
Welcome.
I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
I'll try to answer them the best I can.
Gonna have to ask about the room.
About that back room of yours.
I beg your pardon?
I don't know about this, Miles. Is this really a road you want to go down?
Actually, never mind. I misspoke. Thank you for your help.
My pleasure.
Damn it. Forget it. That parrot's gotta do something.
Polly want to... No! So... Stick around.
Don't worry.
As amusing as it is.
Oh. I can't get the cop to go away. I don't know the piano puzzle.
This quack. Her eyes are glazed. If we didn't know she...
Hey, Addie. Here I am.
It's good to have you back. So what's this big case Upton's got you on? Another missing pet?
If only. A Gascon Grand Dame was attacked and almost interred alive.
You mean Madame Dupray? The one whose obituary was in the paper?
The very same.
Goodness, that does sound serious. Tell me if there's anything I can do to help. I know you haven't been feeling your best lately.
You're always a help to me, Addie. Though I assure you I have this well in hand.
I certainly hope so.
Do you have any heroin? Like really
Addie?
strong heroin?
Yes, dear?
Do you know anything about Madame Dupray?
I've read that the Duprays are one of the few wealthy families that exclusively employ real people to serve. Rather commendable, don't you think?
Yes. It makes it even more baffling why she was attacked. Have you heard any gossip from your clients? Anything about who might have wanted to harm her?
Nothing. She's held in the highest regard by the other Grand Dames. If she had actually died, I'd have expected them to petition her canonization. What is it?
Whoops.
There's an officer posted in front of Madame Dupray's family tomb, and I need to get a look inside. Could you use your wiles and charm to distract him?
My wiles and charm,
Well, you are irresistible, darling. I'm sure he wouldn't turn away a lady in need. Say you've gotten lost in the cemetery and ask him to show you the way out.
Should we really be tricking a police officer like that?
Sure.
There's no harm in it, and I won't be but a moment inside. It's in a good cause.
All right, let's go then.
Oh dear. Oh
Excuse me, officer. I was wondering if you could help me?
What do you want?
I seem to have gotten all turned around. Do you have any idea how to get to the front gate?
My suggestion would be to turn around and head back the way you came.
Yes, I've tried that, but I seem to just be going in circles. Perhaps you could point me in the right direction?
Stop right there. That's quite enough from you.
I beg your pardon?
Don't think I can't tell what your game is. You're trying to lure me away from here and into some alley where your gang of Sambos is gonna rob me blind. Exactly how many of them have you got lying in wait for poor, unsuspecting fools you bring in?
Excuse me.
Just one.
Oh, yay!
And he doesn't appreciate you talking to his wife that way.
You know, Miles, sometimes I forget how absolutely delightful it is to watch you lose your head.
Miles, was that really necessary?
I'm sorry, Addie. You know how I get with people whose minds are full of that rubbish.
Let's just get him out of sight before this lands both of us in jail. That bush over there should work. I have to say, I wasn't expecting assaulting a policeman to be on today's activity list.
It'll be fine. When you're
He's
on the force as long as
fine.
I was, you can pretty much get away with murder.
Whoa.
Well, it's been fun, but I need to take my wiles and charm over to my appointment with Mrs. Lefebvre. I'll see you at home later, dear. Try to stay out of trouble.
That nest is full of eggs, but where's the mother bird?
Perhaps she abandoned it.
Always assuming the worst, aren't you, Miles? What a dramatic statue. I'm rather surprised no one has defaced it. Hang on. You don't suppose this is...
Mm-hmm.
Surprise, surprise! A hidden compartment with a stash of pills inside. Seems Mr. Montgomery has a little business on the side.
William Arthur Chesterton, 1770 to 1837, gone but never forgotten. John Patrick Chesterton, 1740 to 1825, patriarch, leader, family man. Douglas Chesterton, 1791 to 1840, good riddance. Desmond Chesterton, 1745 to 1810, strong in life, stronger in death. Celine, 1823 to 1844, taken too soon, rest ye with the angels.
This must be what was going to be Madame Dupray's final resting place.
I don't see anything inside.
What, were you expecting a note from her attacker?
No, but I was hoping for some kind of clue at the very least.
These crypts are reserved for future generations of Chestertons to rot in.
There are only 3 left.
Then let's hope the Chestertons aren't opposed to spending eternity cozied up to one another.
Jane Scott Chesterton, 1746 to 1815, ab aeterno. Sarah Chesterton, 1784 to 1812, I told you I was sick. Dale Chesterton, 1795 to 1843, a good man, rest in peace.
That nest is full.
Perhaps she...
Always a... I suppose the whole heaven shining down upon the tomb motif is good for the dead people's self-esteem. This quack.
I have some questions for you.
Pills here.
Oh, goody.
You'll never believe what I found in your family's tomb.
Oh? Was it a ghost?
No, it was these vigor pills. You wouldn't happen to know how they got there, would you?
I see you really are good at your job, aren't you, Mr. Fordham?
Look, Andrew, I'm in no mood for games. I'm willing to overlook your unlawful activities in exchange for your cooperation.
Fine, but you have to understand, I'm not exactly feeling myself right now.
Oh, I am.
I understand perfectly,
But, you know.
which is why I need you to take one of these pills.
I suppose one would help. Thank you. My goodness, I always forget how fast those pills work. My heart is racing. You said you had questions, didn't you? Well, go on, ask them already. We mustn't waste any more time.
Well, that seems to have done the trick. I just hope we haven't doomed him to a heart attack.
I did not ask him to take the pills. Oh, Jesus.
That's a rather exotic bird you've got.
Yes, Ray is nice when he's quiet. But get him started and it's tough to shut him up.
Who trained him?
I think he already knew some phrases when Mother bought him. She's managed to teach him a few new ones, though.
So, you're running some kind of pill business on the side?
I'm providing a service, Mr. Fordham. Not everyone in this life is as lucky as I am. People pay top crown for luxuries like airship tickets and social club memberships. Medicine should be affordable to all.
Word.
Dr. Tennyson has a patent on the energy pill formula and thus a monopoly on the market. That means he can charge whatever he wants. Students use these kinds of pills all the time, you know. Academic rigors can be overwhelming, and concentrating can be difficult without help sometimes. I've got the skills and the equipment. If I can replicate the formula, help my fellow students, and sell them at a much more reasonable price, why shouldn't I?
There's the fact that what you're doing is illegal.
Oh, you're starting to sound just like Mother. And just because it's illegal doesn't mean it's immoral. I can think of plenty of examples where the opposite is true.
You're probably the most altruistic person I've met all month.
The sad part is it's true.
What can you tell me about your sister, Juliet?
Juliet, smart as a whip and just as forgiving. She's a fighter, that one.
Mm-hmm.
Despite being the only woman in her class, she's managed to rank at the top.
Impressive.
I only wish Mother was more accepting of Juliet going to university. But you don't want to hear about boring family matters, I'm sure.
Oh, but family matters are my favorite. It's always so reassuring to know how much worse off everyone else is.
How do you typically spend your days, Mr. Montgomery? What are your interests?
I study pharmacology at the university. I'll be graduating next year if all goes well. I just hope Mother has recovered enough by then to understand what's going on. She and Jean were so proud of me when I started university. I'd be so disappointed if she couldn't see me finish.
I take it Jean is your stepfather.
He is. Mother married him 5 years after my father died of consumption.
My condolences. Do you have a good relationship with him?
Not terribly. Truth is, I hardly ever see him. In fact, before the funeral, I hadn't seen him at all this month.
Where is he now?
I don't know for certain, but it seems likely he's at his hunting cabin.
His hunting cabin?
Yes, he often goes there. It's his way of leaving polite society behind and spending time with his thoughts. Considering what Mother just went through, well, I would guess that's where he's gone. Although, to be honest, I don't know why he's not here with Mother in her time of need.
Yeah, kind of
Why do
suspicious
people run
that.
away from their problems instead of facing them? Why, Miles?
Do you know where this cabin is?
Afraid not. I don't share his passions, so I never cared much to accompany him on his outings.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupray?
I can't believe anyone would be so cruel as to do what that wretched bastard Martin did to her. Mother is kind and generous, and everyone loves her. She's even good enough to hire actual people to do the housework. Not many wealthy families do that, you know. They just use automated machines or hire servants to operate the manual ones.
What exactly were the circumstances leading up to your mother's supposed death?
A few days ago, I arrived home from school and found her collapsed on the floor. She wasn't breathing, so I immediately contacted Dr. Fellows. He examined her and pronounced her dead. We were all completely shocked. I was devastated. She'd been in fine health. In fact, she'd just been out riding that morning. You can imagine our surprise at the funeral when she sprang back to life.
What's your relationship with the servants like?
Relationship? I don't have one with them. They're servants. Mother always made it clear that they weren't part of the family, just help. We've only got 2 on staff right now, though, the kitchen girl and the gardener.
Yeah, where is the gardener?
How is it you know Albert Martin?
He works at the greenhouse where my sister Julia does her research. The two of them were involved romantically, and Mother didn't like that at all. I heard their fights. They were ghastly.
What exactly made you suspect he was the one responsible for what happened to your mother?
Well, I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? His mother's a notorious voodoo witch. Those people do all sorts of awful things to our kind. It's all out of spite, you know. He knew Mother disapproved of his relationship with Juliet, so he plotted to get rid of her.
Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
All right, Parrot, what do you know?
Pieces of 8? Who's a pretty... So long.
You might want to look in
May I
on
ask you a few questions?
Andrew there.
Please be my guest.
Tell me what you know about Jean Dupray.
I'd rather not speak of him. Madame Dupray does not need to be agitated any further.
I take it you don't look very favorably upon him, then.
I'll just say this. If my wife had been attacked and left for dead, you can be sure I wouldn't leave her side.
What a gentleman. He doesn't even leave women who aren't his wife.
I see what you mean. Do you know where I might find him?
I only wish I did.
Those are all the questions I've got for now.
I hope I answered them adequately.
Amelie?
Yes? What is it? We mustn't be seen talking.
Anything you can tell me about Jean?
I hardly ever see him. Only at dinner. He's scared of Madam, and so he finds any reason to get out of the house and stay away as long as he can.
But they're married.
Scared
Oh,
of him?
I guess that explains
Well, it's
it.
true. You should see him when they're in private, like a shamed puppy that dirtied the carpet.
Interesting.
Do you have any idea why Jean is so afraid of Madame Dupray?
If he's seen the same things we have, then yes.
What kind of things?
No, I spoke out of turn. Forget I said anything.
Amelie, listen to me. A potentially innocent man's life is on the line. If I don't find out who attacked Madame Dupray, he's as good as dead. So if there are any facts or details you know that I don't, you need to tell me.
I can't.
You can. I'm not with the police. If Madame Dupray did something wrong, I'm not going to look the other way. Trust me, I'm on your side.
Madam beats the servants. I think she even does it for fun. I hear the screams sometimes. I don't know how anyone else in the family doesn't. Maybe they do and just ignore it. I don't know. But if Mr. Dupray knows what she do, it explains why he's so scared of her.
Huh.
Thank you.
Whoops. God, I missed.
Amelie,
Yeah?
did Madame Dupray ever abuse you?
No, I was lucky, but some of the others weren't.
Like who? I need details, Amelie.
The old gardener, Guy Dumas, and one of the maids, Celine. I saw Madame going after them the most. Don't know what they did to deserve it, but I would see her walk by in a rage, whip in one hand and a book in the other.
A book? What book?
Oh, I don't know. I can't read, so I don't know what it said on the cover. But it's the same color as the stew spice I always use. Don't know what she used it for, but she always had it with her, just before a beating.
Red book.
Maybe she'd recite them some of her terrible poetry. I'm sure that was torture enough.
Red book, red book.
Tell me more about Guy and Celine.
They were deeply in love with each other. I used to hear them talk about how they wanted to run away together.
What happened to them?
I don't know. One day they were here, and then one day they weren't.
Do you think Madame Dupray may have done something to them?
Yeah.
I couldn't say for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if she had. Please, let's not talk about this anymore.
Thank you, Amelie. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Now please, let me get back to work.
I think someone's been deep sixing the bodies. right, Red Book, what do you know?
Well, this should be the book Amelie mentioned. Well, what have we here?
A whip, and it has dried blood on it. How ghastly.
This
Mine.
house is just full of secrets, isn't it?
Okay, so now I've got a whip.
So long. I have some questions for you.
All right.
Did you know Guy Dumas?
The old gardener? Sure, I knew him. We didn't talk very much. He was just a servant after all, but he seemed like a nice man. He stopped coming around about 2 months ago. Too bad, really. He did a good job of keeping the gardens looking nice. The new one is all right, but he just doesn't have that special touch Guy did.
Were you familiar with a servant named Celine?
Yes, I believe she was one of the maids. I didn't talk to her very much. Oh, she quit not so long ago. At least I assume she did. I haven't seen her in about 3 months.
Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
Is this your whip?
Amelie?
Yes?
I found this upstairs in Madame Dupray's bedroom. Do you recognize it?
Oh, please take that away, Mr. Fordham. Why would you show it to me?
I'm sorry, I didn't think it would upset you.
Miles. Maybe someday you'll learn how to read basic human emotion.
Thank you, Amelie. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Spank the statue. Spank it.
This quack hasn't... Her eyes are glazed over and she's got a vacant, expressionless stare. She seems completely oblivious. If we didn't know she...
Okay, so now what do I do with this?
Hello again, Miss Montgomery. Mind answering a few more questions?
Hello, Mr. Fordham. Not at all.
Is there anything you can tell me about your stepfather, Jean?
He's a kind man. I don't really see him too often. He seemed rather upset at Mother's funeral, but I can't help but wonder if he feels the same way as I do about her death.
What do you mean?
Just that I get the distinct impression that he and Mother's marriage isn't as perfect as they'd like it to appear.
I'm starting to sense a trend here.
Your brother told me that Jean enjoys hunting. Do you know where his cabin is?
Yes, it's in Fenton Swamp. I went out there with him a few times, but I didn't really enjoy it. Frankly, the place is rather grotesque. All those stuffed trophies staring at you with their cold, dead eyes. Plants are much nicer to have around. Anyway, if you take the main road through the swamp about 1.5 miles, you'll come upon a small dirt path that goes northeast. Take that until you see a small cabin on the left. That's it.
Thank you for the information, Miss Montgomery. Do you know Guy Dumas?
Yes, he was one of our servants. He used to enjoy reading my books, as well as Andrew's.
When did you see him last?
Just last week. He came by to see me and asked to borrow some books.
Do you know where I might be able to find him?
Not really. I get the impression that he moves around frequently. But I can tell him you're looking for him next time I see him, if you like.
Please do. Although hopefully I'll be able to find him before then. Were you friends with Celine, the maid?
Yes, I was quite fond of Celine. She was so sweet and interesting to talk to. One day, she just left the house with no explanation. Mother said it was because she had found work elsewhere. I was terribly saddened. I wish I'd had the chance to say goodbye to her, at least. What's your interest in her?
Oh, I was just curious, that's all. No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
Finally, I can find this stepfather. Hello?
Hello? Is anyone here?
Strange of Dupray to leave the door unlocked. Maybe it means he'll be returning soon.
Also note, one of the guns is missing.
One of the guns is missing.
Yep.
Sean must be out using it currently. Satchels, boxes, and other assorted boring things for hunting.
Let's see if Jean has anything interesting in here.
Not very much, except a letter.
Dear Jean, thank you so much for your help. To think that Mother would try and have me withdraw from my studies is just unbelievable. Don't worry, I won't tell you made the university change their minds. One attempt to ruin a life is quite enough. Blam!
Who the hell are you? What are you doing in my cabin?
Jean Dupray, I presume?
Yes, that's right. Who are you?
Miles Fordham, private investigator. I'm looking into the attempted murder of your wife.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Forgive my rudeness, but you startled me.
Perfectly understandable, Mr. Dupray.
This is a man whose bark is most definitely worse than his bite. Seems Mr. Dupray is a Bollingworth man. Maybe he's not so bad after all.
Big game hunter, too.
Can we talk, Mr. Dupray?
I suppose so. Yes.
I suppose it goes without saying that you enjoy hunting, Mr. Dupray?
Yes, I do. I consider myself something of an outdoorsman, you see. It's nice to be able to go out and get some fresh air after being sat at the bank all day.
What about your home life?
Truth be told, I'm not at home as often as I'd like to be. I've been trying to make more time, but something usually comes up. Business is business, after all.
Yeah, but what business are we talking about here exactly?
What can you tell me about Madame Dupray?
Oh, my dear wife. The past few days have been just awful for all of us.
Yes, I can imagine. How long have you been married?
For 7 wonderful years. Laura and I are just as much in love now as we were on the day we married.
Lord, does he actually expect anyone to believe that nonsense?
You'll pardon me for being so frank, Mr. Dupray, but why are you out hunting and not at your wife's side?
Excuse me? Who are you to lecture me on my marriage?
A fellow married man, that's who. Your wife has just suffered a very traumatic ordeal. Shouldn't you be at home caring for her?
But with all the confusion at the house, with the police investigating and her being attended to by her doctor, I just needed to get away for a bit. Surely you can understand, Mr. Fordham.
There's something off about this guy, Miles. He's definitely hiding something, and for once, I don't think it's from his wife.
What can you tell me about your stepchildren?
Andrew and Juliet?
Oh.
I see a future ahead for both of them.
What's your relationship with them like?
It's fine. Why do you ask?
I got the distinct impression from both of them that they hardly ever see you.
Well, yes, I suppose that is true. We don't spend much time together. But they're both so busy with school, I don't want to get in their way. Not to mention my job keeps me away from home for considerable periods of time.
Excuses, excuses. I get the feeling Mr. Dupray avoids his family on purpose. But why?
Be our guest, be our guest. Murdered wife is... I don't know.
Tell me what you know about Guy Dumas and Celine.
I'm sure I have no idea what you're talking about.
They were former servants of yours. Do you not remember them?
Oh, I remember them. I just have nothing to say about them.
I met some bad liars in my day, but this guy really takes the cake. We'll get him, somehow.
My wife, she beats the servants best.
Do you know anything about the circumstances surrounding Madame Dupray's death?
Horrible. Simply horrible.
Do you have any idea why Mr. Martin might have attempted to kill her?
Mr. Martin? You mean the boys they arrested? Andrew said it's because Martin and his mother are witches who prey on the well-to-do. You only need to take one look at him to see his trouble. It's a shame they put him away so quickly. I'd have liked to teach him a lesson or two, believe you me.
Yeah, right.
Savoir-faire is everywhere.
Do you fear your wife, Mr. Dupray?
Do I... what?
The question's quite
Do I
simple.
what?
Are you afraid of Madame Dupray?
Why in the east would you think that?
About what?
I'd be afraid of someone who kept a bloody whip in my bedroom. Care to explain that?
You don't know her like I do. No one does.
I surrender! I surrender!
No one aside from the servants, I suppose. She's cruel, Mr. Fordham. Crueler than anyone or anything I've ever seen.
Tell me more about Madame Dupray's cruelty.
She treats the servants like animals, Mr. Fordham. She would say the most vile, awful things to them. Things I would expect to hear on the Gascon docks, not from the lips of a grande dame. And the beatings. Oh, God.
Mon
the
Dieu.
screams I would hear from somewhere in the house. I never dared find out where.
Nobody else ever heard the screaming?
No. She was cunning. She would do it when no one else was around. Once she knew I had heard, she threatened me. Told me she would...
Yes?
She threatened to expose my secret, Mr. Fordham.
She will spank
What
me.
secret is that?
Our marriage is one of convenience. It's all for show. Laura has herself a well-to-do husband, and I am a normal man in the eyes of society.
I see.
I am,
suppose
how
that would
you
explain
say,
Well, now, how was that not obvious to you? The soporific is really having a bad effect
confirmed
on you.
bachelor?
Don't worry, Mr. Dupray. Your secret's safe with me.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham.
Nobody else knows this, but secretly, I am French. Please, don't tell the papers. They would have a field day.
Tell me what you know about Guy Dumas and Celine.
Celine had an accident.
What kind of accident?
Laura thought Celine had been stealing her silverware. She got a bit carried away with a beating and...
Dupray killed Celine?
Yes, she did. In order to keep it quiet, she had Celine placed in our family tomb.
Oh, God.
I see. What about Guy?
I don't know. I never saw him again after that.
Well, this case has certainly taken a turn for the sinister.
Do you know anything about Madame Dupray trying to get Juliet taken out of her classes at the university?
Ah, yes. Laura didn't approve of her daughter's desire to further her education. So, she sent a letter to the university requesting Juliet's withdrawal. I didn't approve of her trying to meddle in Juliet's affairs. If she wants to study, she should be free to do so. I wrote them a letter myself, without Laura's knowledge, telling them to disregard the previous request for withdrawal.
That's very good of you.
Yes, well, I dislike seeing people being told what they can and can't do by others.
Yet, he seems perfectly willing to employ servants at his home. Well, I suppose we're all hypocrites in one way or another.
I'll be going now.
Au revoir, Mr. Fordham.
Okay. Well.
Dale Chesterton. Douglas Chesterton. William.
Wait a minute.
Celine? Put her name on it?
Somehow a piece of paper got wedged into the side of the vault.
Use tweezers on paper.
Carefully now. Got it! Nice work, Fordham. Now to see what this is.
She will pay for what she did to you, my love.
Leaving notes for the dead. How very touching. I wonder if anyone has left me one at my grave.
Quiet, Bill. I need to think. We know this note is likely from Guy. Now we just need to figure out where to find him.
Is there anything on the other side of that piece of paper?
Bill, you're a genius.
I wouldn't give me all the credit just yet.
Let's see. A receipt for an extended stay at the Stun Arms. Does that sound familiar at all?
Vaguely. But I can't recall anything off the top of my head.
Looks like we'll have to do a bit more searching.
The Arms.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
I found this note in the Chesterton tomb. I think it was left by the person who attacked Madame Dupray.
Nice work. Sounds like you're about ready to wrap things up.
I will be as soon as I find him. Take a look at the other side of it.
Part of a receipt for a hotel?
Yes, but the name is only partially visible at the bottom.
Stun Arms. The only hotel that comes to mind is the Boston Arms in Chumley.
Boston.
Of course. I knew the name sounded familiar. The stories I could tell you about that place. Not right now, of course.
You're helpful as always, Upton. Thank you.
Good luck, Fordham. I hope you find your suspect.
Ding.
That's enough about the case for now.
Okay.
That's it, I think.
Then you'd better get back to it.
Freeze!
Who is it?
Dumas, open this door right now.
Okay, one moment.
I'm Miles Fordham, a private investigator. It's extremely important I speak with you, Mr. Dumas.
What do you want?
Just to talk. May I come in?
Yes, I suppose so.
So why'd you do it, Guy?
I found your note in St. Denis Cemetery. Care to explain what it means?
How did you...
I'm a private investigator, Mr. Dumas. That's what I do. Now we can either do this the easy way or the hard way. It's up to you.
I left that note for Celine. I didn't think anyone would ever find it.
So it was you who attacked Madame Dupray?
Yes, it was me. I confess.
I can't remember the last time a suspect actually confessed. If only they were all like this.
Case
But please,
closed.
Mr. Fordham, you have to understand. The woman is evil. If only you knew what she did. Please, don't arrest me, Mr. Fordham. You have to know the truth about Madame Dupray.
Relax, Mr. Dumas. I'm not going to arrest you just yet.
I am.
I'm perfectly willing to hear your side of the story. Now let's take this nice and slow. How did you come to be employed by Madame Dupray?
I used to work in an iron factory in Chomley, but a few years ago, they brought in some steam machines to help production. One of the machines had a problem, and my friend Connor and I were assigned to fix it. We had no idea what we were doing, but we wanted to keep our jobs. I don't know what happened, but the next thing I knew, Connor was dead, and I was badly hurt. I swore never to go near one of those machines again. After I got better, I spent a few months looking for work, but it was impossible to find any jobs that didn't involve steam tech. Then I found out about Madame Dupray. Working at her home seemed like an improvement. I had a decent bed to sleep in. The work was not difficult, and I even made friends with her daughter. But Madame Dupray soon showed her true nature.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupray?
She seemed like a nice woman at first, but after working for her, I came to know how awful she truly was. When no one was around, she would beat me and some of the other servants for fun, say the most cruel things, call us horrible names.
Why didn't you just leave?
She threatened us, told us she would make it impossible for us to get work anywhere else. It's already difficult enough getting a job that doesn't force you to operate those awful machines. To be blacklisted by Madame Dupray would have been the final nail in the coffin.
Jackson asks, have we heard Bill say anything our character doesn't already know, as in, he's the figment of our imagination proof? No, we haven't. I don't think it's any real secret that it's not really a ghost or anything. I think it's fairly obvious our guy Miles here is insane. Or at least, he's crazy in the sense that he's just imagining Bill's voice in his head as his guilty conscience, but, you know, who knows? It's a game. We might be surprised.
Tell me about Celine.
Oh, my dear Celine. She was the most beautiful thing I ever saw. We were going to get married, you know. Then that devil killed her. She beat her to death in front of me. I was powerless to do anything. Please, Mr. Fordham, I don't want to remember. Let us speak of something else.
Do you know Albert Martin?
No. Who is that?
He's Juliet's lover, falsely accused of the crime you committed.
I had no idea.
Are you going to let an innocent man die because of what you did?
Mais oui.
No, of course not. I suppose things got out of hand. It was not my intention for someone else to take the blame for my actions.
So why did you attack Madame Dupray in the way you did?
I knew that if I went to her home and killed her, I would be caught and thrown in jail. I needed to find a way to do it quietly and not make anyone suspicious. Also, I wanted her to suffer for what she did to my Celine. I had read about toxic plants in Juliet's schoolbooks, and I knew a bit about them from working as a gardener. So I decided to poison Dupray and make her appear dead so she could be buried alive and suffer the same way she made us when she would lock us away in her secret room.
Wait, secret room? What?
Did you say secret room?
Yes, Mr. Fordham. It was no bigger than a coffin. She would place us inside if she was especially mad at us, with no food or water, sometimes for days at a time. We couldn't scream because she would stuff our mouths. She would also plug our ears and cover our faces.
How often did she put you in there?
Only a few times, but that was more than enough.
Jesus.
I'd rather not think about it.
So you have no idea where it is?
None. I only remember Madame Dupray would say the same thing any time she was about to put someone in there. A perfect servant must behave. I've told you everything, Mr. Fordham. Are you still going to arrest me?
I haven't quite decided yet, Mr. Dumas. If I can find this secret room, it would be enough to charge Madame Dupray with a crime. However, if you haven't been telling me the truth...
I have been, Mr. Fordham. I swear it. I'll even make you a deal. If you promise me you'll try to find the secret room, I won't leave this hotel.
All right, Dumas. It's a deal.
Well, at least now we can go straight to Upton and have him taken in. Unless you really do believe him about the secret room.
Oh, I do.
That's all for right now, but I'll be back.
Yes, Mr. Fordham. I'll be here.
A perfect servant must behave.
And now you'll taste an early grave. Me sofa, Ray. In the middle, see?
So long, Bert.
Bye-bye.
Got ya. Okay, clearly I've got the scale wrong. Yes I do. EGF D. My bad.
That seems to have done something.
Crunch. Oh my god!
Good God!
This does not look good. He's dead.
I think
You
we
should
found
inform Dr. Fellows
Marcel.
about this right away.
It seems Guy was telling the truth after all.
Yes, it would probably be a good idea to let him know of this development. He's watching you like...
Guy?
Yes?
I found the secret room you told me about.
You see? I wasn't lying.
No, you certainly weren't. There was someone inside. A man.
No. Who?
I'm not sure, but I can only assume it was one of Madame Dupray's servants.
Was he alright?
No!
He was dead. Dr. Fellows confirmed it was due to asphyxiation.
Madame Dupray must have put him in there before I drugged her. And then, with everything that's happened, she didn't let him out in time. Oh my god, it's my fault he's dead. If only I'd known.
The circumstances are quite unfortunate, Mr. Dumas. However, this has shed a new light on Madame Dupray and her cruel practices. I can't say for certain that you were justified in your actions, but I am a bit reluctant to say you were completely at fault. But the bottom fact is that Mr. Martin has been falsely accused of this crime. If I were to let you go, he would be punished in your place. Unless...
Yes?
I'm going to need you to write me a letter, Mr. Dumas.
Of course, Mr. Fordham. Anything to take care of this mess.
Good. Hopefully now this whole grim affair can be brought to an end.
I don't know about that.
That's all for right now, but I'll be back.
Yes, Mr. Fordham. I'll be here.
Guess we'll see.
He's watching you like...
Okay, I guess we give it to Upton.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
I think I'm ready to wrap this case up.
Okay, who's your prime suspect?
It was Guy Dumas, a former servant at Dupray Manor. He used toxic plants to drug Madame Dupray so she appeared dead, which he learned about from her daughter's schoolbooks.
What was his motive?
Revenge. His lover was beaten to death, and he wanted Madame Dupray to suffer for it.
Fiendish. Nice work, Fordham. I'll pass along the information and we can make an arrest. I'm sure Mr. Martin will be relieved. And of course, I'll dip into the department's Good Samaritan fund to get you proper compensation for your work. For now, go home to your wife. I'm sure I'll have something else for you to look into fairly soon.
Just a moment.
Guy Dumas?
Yes?
You're under arrest for the attempted murder of Madame Laura Dupray.
I suppose it was too much to expect Fordham to believe me.
What was that?
Nothing.
I recommend you remain silent until you're questioned at the station. Come with me.
What? I believed you.
Addie, I'm home. Addie?
I believed him, but he was still guilty.
I'm glad we're alone because I wanted to talk to you about something.
Yes, Bill, I know. I told you I'm doing my best to try and find the flower shop burglar.
No, for once, this isn't about him. This is about you.
You want to talk about me? What about me?
You can play dumb and deflect all you like with everyone else around you, but it won't work with me. I know exactly what you're thinking, and you know exactly what I'm gonna say.
I'm sick of games, Bill. I can't guess. Just tell me.
Have you already forgotten the old days, Miles? Before I died, we were solving cases like nobody's business. You were one of the best detectives on the force. But ever since you started taking that soporific, your mind hasn't been as sharp as before. If you're serious about taking on more complex cases, you need to listen to Adelaide and stop taking it. It's already had a negative effect on your performance.
What are you talking about? We had Guy Dumas arrested for the crime.
Yes, but if you were working at your full abilities, you'd have come to that conclusion much sooner.
If I stop taking it, you won't let me sleep through the night. Nothing will change.
Well, things would change if you found you-know-who.
I thought you said we weren't going to talk about that right now.
Yeah, well, I say a lot of things.
An understatement if ever there was one. Can't you just keep quiet without me having to take something?
Afraid not, old friend. That's just not who I am or how this works.
If you keep me up all night, I'll go crazy. Things have been hard enough as it is. And if, God forbid, Adelaide were ever to find out about...
About what?
Hello, Miles. Is there someone else here? I thought I heard you talking just now.
Fantastic. The jig is up. And here I thought we were doing so well, too.
No, there isn't anyone else here. I was just talking to myself.
You're not going crazy on me, are you, Miles?
No, of course not.
Going
Ridiculous,
crazy?
Addie.
No.
Just checking.
I've been there.
How was your appointment?
Mrs. Lefebvre was her usual bossy and overly picky self, but she gave me a very generous tip.
That's good.
So I stopped by the shop on the way home and bought a new deck of cards.
Excellent. Shall we have a few rounds of écarté? I believe you demanded a rematch last time we played.
Yes, that would be nice.
Well, you certainly managed to dodge that bullet. I only wonder how much longer you'll manage before one finally hits you.
Did I do the right thing? I just don't know.
And it says here they still don't know what caused that explosion.
I guarantee you it was sabotage. Those Redites have been causing a lot of trouble lately.
Is that the group of anti-steam tech radicals?
The very same.
Why Redites, though?
They're named after some fellow named Jonathan Red, apparently the one who began the whole anti-steam movement. It's really a rather stupid name, if you ask me. And uncreative, to boot.
Well, what would you call them, then?
Something simple, like the Anti-Steam Society.
That almost makes them sound classy. Perhaps you'd best stick with the detecting, dearest. Your nomenclature needs a bit of work.
Well, I think it's about time I get ready for bed.
All right, Miles, if you must.
I mean, I just don't think the other option was the right way to go. Like, he wasn't innocent. Like, that's just the plain fact. It may have been, like, either negligent homicide, but somebody still died because of him. And besides that, some handwritten letter that I can't prove where it came from, that doesn't mean that the other guy's going to be set free. But anyway, I think this is a good time for a break, so I'm going to let it end here for now. I do like this game. It's definitely a very smart game that had me guessing and very interested as to where it was going. I was expecting more of a supernatural element up to it at this point. I'm not disappointed that it doesn't have one so far. I like the fact that it's just a very kind of a real grounded type of case. So, I will be coming back to it. I like it a lot. And I like the voice acting. It's all very good across the board so far. Maybe a little cheesy in some roles, but, you know, whatever. I can appreciate the voice acting for what it is. I mean, it's certainly keeping me interested. I'm not skipping past any dialogue. It's cool. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope to see you again next time. Have a good one.